Oh, hey, folks. You know, sometimes, well, while I'm live streaming, I get very hungry right there, right down in there, right in the clown tummy. And I think you guys have probably noticed. I mean, got to keep that blood sugar rocking, right? So when that happens, I just reach on down for a nice box or bowl of Tripios. Comes with a free 2-liter of cotton candy flavored Faygo. And, well, I think without further ado, we should walk on over and see how it's made, shall we? I think we shall. Grab your bowl, get your cereal in there, just like you normally would. But then, add your Faygo, and you've got a nice bowl of Tripios the correct way. As you can tell, this is some very delicious cereal. And you don't even need milk. You just need Faygo. Delicious, delicious cotton candy flavored Faygo. And another plus side of the cereal, it doesn't even make you fat. Nom, 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 nom. I have no idea how they do it. Nom, 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 nom. Not even a little bit of weight. Nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom. I feel larger. And you will too. Just purchase it today.
Live from just above Detroit, it's Jester Talks with your host, TrippyCast, and your guest, This Thing.
Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, man. Let's do this fucking thing. Yeah, within 3 seconds of the show, I've already dropped F-bombs because, I don't know. It's just me unfiltered. So, yeah. Guys, in the chat, this is our buddy Bandit. You guys have probably seen him around in the live chats, Friendly kind of guy. Does modding for peoples, I think, right? You do modding for people? Yeah. Oh, I just keep whacking my knee on my desk, and it still hasn't taught me a lesson. Just saying. Because it's like, it doesn't hurt after the 40th or 50th or 60th time, It's just, after a while, you get used to it. Just, I think the only thing not getting used to it's my desk. So, oh my God. We're doing an interview with Mr. Bandit over here. I don't know much about Bandit, to be honest, guys. I don't know. Do you have a YouTube channel? Oh. Gotcha. Kind of like our friend Madness of the chat in that way, huh? Because he does that too. Him, Malevolent Rider. We got a few people that do that kind of stuff. They just like helping other folk. And I had you muted this whole time. Okay, cool. Thank you, Uncle Guns. So yeah, his answer was no. He doesn't really have a YouTube channel. He just uses his stuff to promote other people's stuff. He mods for certain channels.
Yep.
Moderator. I've got a lot of wrenches myself, but that's because I know a lot of people who YouTube stream, and you just kind of collect them after a while. I got a whole box load.
Well, the more the merrier. You gotta have everybody modded eventually, right?
I mean, I kind of do, sort of. I don't know. I handed wrenches out to people that I kind of like trust. You know what I'm saying? Once in a while, it just kind of goes haywire, and you get those certain people who are like, I'm just gonna ban everybody that's on a Trippy's channel. Once in a while.
And then that person's always gone.
And then my one buddy, he likes smacking people as soon as they come into the chat. And it's like, stop doing that. Stop doing it. That people don't know you're joking.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, retracting messages. Put them back in there. Put them back in there. Madness is, because Madness is, he uses his stuff to promote other stuff. He says, I do have some videos that I have made on mine channel, because that's how he talks. They are very bad though. Oh man. Well, I'm thinking about making some videos, but I can never get any time anymore to actually do it.
And that's my biggest problem. It's just trying to find the time to be consistent. I know
Dude.
I know it sounds weird, but it's one of the hardest things because it's always when you want to stream, something always happens.
Well, not too much for me, like, because people know I stream and shit, so they'd rather pick a fight with me while I'm streaming.
Oh, they're the best.
For me in videos though, like I have to draw everything, you know. So if I want this character here standing up and walking, I got to make that shit. You know,
Now,
nobody's doing it for me.
Do that?
Photoshop and a mixture of my my old art style and skills from when I was a kid. That kind of stuff. Photoshop and character animator.
How long does it normally take you to make animation and then add it to yourself? We're talking
Well, it depends. It depends on what I'm trying to do. Because I got these like donation animations that'll play if people donate to the stream elements. And speaking of donations, Brad Young just dropped $2. Thank you, Brad Young. Into the super chats. Super chats. Thank you, Mr. Brad Young. These guys have been
like the
really...
one you did for Hormax. How long did that take you to do Hormax?
Which time?
the one where he's wearing a wife beater. How long did that one take you to make?
Oh, I mean, like when I say which time, I mean, dude, I drew it first and then I drew it again. And the first time that I drew it, it probably took me like 6 hours to nail everything in the background and get it just the way that I wanted it. But then I realized that he was sitting way too high up because Maxer likes to stream with the camera from his eyebrow up to the top of his head. You catch my drift? Like he likes to have that camera pointed high. So I had to redraw it because the definition was all broke up. But by the time that I, blew it up, the definition was all lowered. The pixelation came through. And I was like, I guess I'll just redo it. And the second time, it probably took me like 2 hours just to tweak it.
Okay.
And then I've added like a wine glass to it and stuff. But I guess when it comes to this animating style and with the programs doing a good load of the work, right? Like this character animator has walking cycles built into it. And then you gotta tweak them until they work for whatever you drew. So, that kind of shit takes forever. But I mean, hell, what was it? The last video I made about Hormax, or the last Hanka Files video.
Okay.
I threw in a scene where he's talking as this puppet, right? Like I'm talking as him. And I drew an entire new puppet for myself from scratch that has like a giant laser gun in his hands. And he fires it and he goes flying through a wall. Like you just hear him crash to the wall and into the street. That part alone probably took me 3 hours to make. And I was like, well, 3 hours for a 14-second skit. Okay, well, whatever.
But I mean, the point where I'm bringing it up is a lot of the stuff that most people think that it's just, this is easy. This is just going to take you, 20 minutes to do. And it's never that way. It's always...
Hell no. Yeah. Hell no. Like my little character being able to throw a Fago bottle at you, that took me a while to figure out.
Yeah, and even when you do figure it out, like you're saying, to get the little minor details, that extra, like, the last 10% to make something always seems to take forever.
Yeah. And I mean, like, all I was doing was making a joke about how I was, going to shoot him with a hairdryer, and it turned out to be a laser gun. Just something stupid. It's my kind of goofy. And that stuff, man, oh my God. Like, you'll think, I'm just going to add this little thing to my animation. Anyway, like, even I do that. I'll be like, it won't take very long. And then 5 fucking hours later, I'm sitting here, I'm like, you know what? That took a lot longer than it should have. Is it really worth it? And then I just go, hey, whatever, it's done. I'll use this shit. But that's the headache part about it. And then, like, of course, there's plenty of friendly people around that want to help with the channel, but they're so used to helping people who don't use animated puppets and stuff. It's like, yeah, I would love to do the thing we're talking about, but it's going to take me a while to get there. I have no problem working on shit.
It's like you almost need like an animator for you.
Hell, this is a lot easier than real animation, I would say, but maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit. Yeah, but we got people out there like Brad Young that actually kind of make it worth it by throwing a little do re mi my way because he dropped
Yeah.
that $2. But he also says it's the same way with CNC programming. You spend an hour on a program to make the machine spit out a part in 3 minutes. Yeah. And then our buddy Corey Flockstra, he's the Kang. He's Kang Corey. He says Trippy knows way too many people. Well, it only increases with time, Mr. Corey Flockstra. And also, welcome, Garuda Legends. I like your avatar. Welcome. It says hello. And you know what?
Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead and say it again if you want.
No, I was just saying hello.
Hello. How is it doing? But yeah, man. I don't know. I don't even know what the hell. Today's kind of been weird. The other day sucked ass. I don't know who else was affected, but good God, I was in the worst fucking mood of my life for no reason. For no reason. But I knew a couple of other people that were like, I feel kind of weird and pissy. I think I'm going to take it out on anybody and everybody. Like, you know what? It was Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
Was it a full moon?
I don't know. No, I think even Star looked that up and was like, I'm not sure. I think it's almost a full moon. But I was just in this shit mood. Everything seemed like it was one of those days where everything felt like it was uber hard and annoying. And I was like, I don't want to do anything. I want to go curl up, lay on some, surface, a couch, a bed, whatever, and just beat myself the hell up. What up, Joe Cool? And Ken Leckie. I hope I'm saying his name right. But yeah, man, it was just one of those days. And like I was telling Star about it. She was like, well, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I have no idea what's wrong, but I am very upset with everything.
Were you outside at all? Because sometimes the heat can do that to you too. Like,
I don't remember.
He
I might have been.
make you miserable.
No, I wasn't outside like doing anything crazy.
Okay.
But it was hot as
Because lately,
fuck outside.
it's been brutal. I don't know where you're at, but for me, it's like we're at temperatures in like late August, and it's not even July yet.
Yeah, I'm in Michigan, so like we don't get it as bad as some states, but Michigan still this summer's been deadly hot.
Yeah, but you also get that. You get that humidity. Like there is a difference between. I mean, I know it's ironic to say, but like Vegas, for example, even though it might be 108 degrees, it's dry, so it's not as terrible as like 92 and humid is awful.
Yep. 92 and humid, or like I used to live in Arizona. I lived there for about a year and a half. And oh my dear God, dude. Like I went there, I got in Arizona in like June. In like June, I think. So like, when I first got to Arizona, holy balls. Like you step outside, my sister picked me up, from the airport, and I get into the car and I was like, oh my God, I've never felt that kind of heat, except for in Texas. Actually, it wasn't the airport, it was a bus stop. I'd ridden the bus from Michigan to Arizona. And when I got out of the car, or the bus station rather, stepped outside, I'm like, holy shit.
How long of a bus ride is that? I have to ask that question.
4 days, 3 days, 4 days.
That's insane.
It blew, but made friends, I guess, with some people,
That's cool. I mean, you almost have
to. Exactly. Yeah. So, I don't know. Have you ever lived anywhere like that?
Yeah,
Super hot.
I mean, not really. I've been mostly in Pennsylvania, so I mean.
Oh, okay.
Pennsylvania is a weird one because we actually get all 4 seasons. So it's not Florida heat, it's not Texas heat, but it's also still freaking humid as hell. Ironically, like anything over 90 is disgusting for the most part.
Very much, yeah.
Yeah.
I bet it's probably muggy as hell, right?
Yeah, it's thick. Like we had a couple of days where a lot of people were having trouble breathing because it was so freaking thick. Like you felt like you could cut the air with a freaking knife. It was awful. It was like it's almost like going to Florida heat, where you just it's 95 degrees with like 95% humidity. You want to hate life at that point.
It's like kind of wet, gooey crap. Like you go outside and it's like, oh man, you come back in the house, you're like, it's very sweaty outside.
Yeah, and then like depending if you're in or out of the house, you start getting like dew inside the house. It's so freaking sticky. It's awful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like you ever sleep in a bed next to somebody in that kind of heat, and you wake up and you're stuck to them?
Yeah, or if you have like the fake leather in your car, and you almost have to peel yourself away from the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. It's awful.
Legends in the chat said people be like, "Oh my god, what are you doing to that ice cream cone?" Me, I'd be like, turning down the temp of my core, and I'm about to make love to this ice cream cone. Look away real quick.
Shield your eyes.
Yeah, dude. I know some of the times in Arizona, actually one day in particular, right? I didn't know what the temperature was outside. I just knew it was summer. So I grabbed myself a bottle of ice water, and I start walking. I'm like, I'm going to go to the store, forgetting that the store is 3 miles away, and also not even paying any attention to the weather. I stepped outside. I made it to the end of the block, and I was like, nope, not happening. Turn around. Get back in the house. I look at the weather. I'm like, 122? What the hell was I thinking? Dude, that bottle of ice water was totally melted in my pocket. Well, I mean, I had like big jeans on, so carried it in my pocket. Yeah. But yeah, it totally melted.
120? I can't even fathom something that hot. Like
I think it was 121 or 122, but they said it was like a record hot day since like 1817 or some shit.
That's like Death Valley hot. Like
yeah.
That's awful.
I turned my butt around, man. I got back in that house. I was like, air conditioning. And I don't know, man, if it's everybody else, but for me in Arizona, this is how it worked. I could walk forever in the sun and not sweat a drop. As soon as I would hit air conditioning, I was drenched.
Yeah, it's because it's so dry. Every single chance you start to sweat, it just automatically like evaporates. You don't even really.
That's got to be it.
And then when you come in, you come into the house, it's normally like between like 30 and 50%, and then you just get drenched.
Well, right now, Michigan weather, it's 72 degrees out with 74% humidity, and it's looking kind of cloudy. I
mean, I'll take that. That seems like a nice day.
Damn, Ken Leckie says it was 100 degrees today in New York. Hey, Ty, man.
That's disgusting. I think it was 90. Well, I can look it up. It's freaking hot as hell here.
Right. I'm just sitting here drinking OJ because of that sugar thing.
Yeah, right now it's 75 degrees. It was 82 today, so it wasn't terrible. But last week we were in the mid 90s, and I hated life. It was awful.
Oh, I bet, man.
Oh yeah, Sunday's going to be 92. So yeah, it's going to suck. But yeah, welcome to the summer.
Hey, here's a good question for you and a little bit in the chat, because the chat can always answer, Did you watch the debates last night?
You mean the geriatric Olympics, basically? Yes.
Good God, dude. I thought
it was rough.
I mean, I only watched a few minutes of it because I was getting up and doing shit. And then I come back to the computer. I was like, why does Joe Biden look like he just lost every puppy he's ever owned in his entire life in 3 seconds? Like, he looked devastated the whole time he was up there.
If you look into like sunsetting dementia, that Joe Biden's like a case study for sunsetting dementia. Like imagine the easiest way I can explain it. Imagine like you blink and you feel like you're transported to a different room, don't know where you're at. You don't know who you're talking to, and then you're just like, wow, I'm in this whole brand new area. That's basically where he was at. Because if you looked at his eyes, because eyes don't lie, he looks scared as all hell. He's always looking like either at something in the, I would say, 2 o'clock or 9 o'clock position. He would never look dead on the camera.
Oh.
So he's like, he was either looking at his handlers or looking at like the CNN staff to like help me kind of thing. Because he looked lost. He looked angry. That's the other thing. You get angry because you don't know where you're at. You get scared. You start mumbling. You basically get incoherent. Like the fact that they threw him out there was just sad. And what sucks is, for the most part,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the classic South Park turd and douche sandwich.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
giant
like-
turd and the
like,
giant douche
those
in the
candies-
turd sandwich. That's right.
One's clearly better than the other, but it's not saying much. I mean,
Yo,
those-
Toasty. Toasty's in the chat. I have to introduce you to her. I hope you like. I hope you like bald Mexican women. No. Okay, she's Puerto Rican.
Doesn't bother me.
Maybe I can get her a boyfriend. But yeah, dude, like you could see that shit in Joe's eyes all night. He kept looking at the CNN staff and acting as if they were gonna save him from something. And then every single time Trump said something to him that he felt was out of the way, Biden would throw a little bitch fit. And that was exactly what Trump wanted, dude.
Well,
Exactly
the
what he
thing is,
wanted.
the fact that Trump didn't have ability to talk, and you can see this after like question 3, Trump didn't use his whole time. Trump purposely just said his little thing in like 45 seconds and then let Biden have all the time, because in that sense, the more he talks, the worse he's going to be.
Yeah, he let him dig his own grave. He was letting the guy bury himself.
And the sad thing is, we just become a laughing stock. I mean, can you imagine if you were from Europe or some other country, or Ukraine or something, and you're watching this debate going, I'm watching a battle of two 80-plus-year-olds that are just trying to basically look like surviving, and they can't debate that well. And, you know, Trump couldn't go full attack mode because it literally looked like beating a puppy at that point. Like,
oh yeah,
it would have, if Trump would have went classic Trump, it would have actually hurt him.
It would have.
The fact that CNN made this thing where he had no audience, he was limited to what his time is, what he could say, actually benefited Trump, because it actually made him more seem like a human being instead of like someone that just attacks people. So in a sense, everything they thought were going to protect Biden actually hurt Biden.
Right.
But,
and I got a couple of screenshot things that I took last night. Like,
Mhm.
I'll show it to you, and then I got to bring it up for the audience. So.
Yeah.
Give me a hot second here. Is
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Discord is really weird with screenshotting. I mean, not screenshotting, but screen sharing when you're in full screen. So let me pull that up, and then let me grab a window capture for people watching at home or in their car or on the bus or whatever the fuck. Actually, you got to pull up Photoshop. There you go. There you go, audience. Look at that. They're asking Trump a question. Are Putin's terms for ending Russia's war against Ukraine acceptable to Trump? And Biden has this look on his face as if he just saw someone he knows.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like he's seeing his wife. The crazy thing is, if you watch after the whole thing ends,
Jingle keys, man. Jingle keys.
Joe Biden comes on stage and literally like grabs him by the arm and escorts him off. Like he was not in good form last night. I don't know if he wasn't on his meds, or he was tired, or something triggered him. But yes, see what I'm talking about here? He's
Probably
never
my
looking.
favorite face he made.
He's never looking directly at the camera. He's looking either to the left or to the right. It's like unsettling. Like I don't know if you follow like body language and stuff like that, but like if you want to seem like you're untrustworthy, you don't look directly at the camera. You look to like either like the 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock position, and you look untrustworthy. And that's what he looks like.
He's just staring off into nothingness.
Yeah, I know.
Even with
looking at
this
his
photo,
phone.
he's looking to the same side of the camera or same side of the room. And it's I think he's staring just to the side of the people who are actually asking the questions.
Yeah. And the
And
funny
he's like,
thing is,
hey, look at that. That's my little dog, Joe. Little
Biden's,
Joe.
but just to give a comparison here, Biden's only like 2-3 years older than Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the difference. Like,
Well, because Biden's had 2 brain surgeries to remove tumors in the history, or a long ass time ago. And they told him even back then that it would probably have an effect on his cognitive abilities when he aged up. And what are we seeing? We're seeing exactly what the doctors told him, that his brain would start to slow down. Although, I personally think that he was on a bunch of drugs to keep his ass standing up.
well, the thing is, if he was on drugs, I don't think he was on enough because, I mean,
Right.
if you want to compare this to the State of the Union, like State of the Union, it was almost like he was on uppers because he was great for like the first 20 minutes, and then
Yes.
like his
He
energy
petered out.
just
He slowed
petered
down.
out.
Yeah.
This one, he had no energy from the beginning, and it was just like, then he goes,
Yeah.
I mean, it was more sad as an American. You can't win here. No one wins. This is just pathetic. It's a show at this point. It's just, political theater. But the sad thing is, we as Americans, we all lose.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't really see. I like Trump. I like how Trump acts. I like him. I voted for him twice.
Mm-hmm.
One of my main reasons is, of course, it goes back to the diabetes. Trump was the reason that they lowered the price of insulin. It wasn't because Biden did anything. It was because Trump brought it up. Then we switched presidents, and the owners of Novo Nordisk that put out like the highest amount of insulin, the biggest manufacturers of it.
Yeah.
They skipped all the red tape and they just straight up lowered the price of the stuff.
Well,
After Biden got in there, and the CEO of the company actually was on the news talking about it, and he was like, I know certain people want to take credit for the dropping of the price, but we decided that we didn't want to go through the government to drop the price, so we just lowered it ourselves.
Yeah, and the big difference is one's a businessman that graduated from Wharton School of Business, which is the top business school in the country, and another one is, I don't even think of it, he's an economics major. He just doesn't understand economics, because I mean, you cut the red tape and you open things up and you cut taxes, business is going to do well. And if business does well, it's smart businesses want to keep their talent, so they're going to pay them more. I mean, especially now with the FTC banning non-competes, like I can easily go to a competitor now and I don't have like a 2-year waiting period. That's bans now. So companies are going to be forced to pay people more just to keep them, because there's incentive to move now. Like companies can purge talent now so much easier than any time in history. So things are happening that are good things for the average average person, which is what I normally care about, because I'm a, like, just to give yourself a background, I normally talk about like finance stuff on streams to help people out with like money problems, because that's what I went to school for. And I try to give free advice. I don't charge anything, because like we're in rough times, and a lot of people, I feel bad because the people that don't know what's going on, they're the last ones to get screwed, and then they end up like hating the planet and just trying to destroy everything, instead of like, changing a couple things of what they do, and their lives could be so much better. So,
because they can make all that money, they can pack it away, and these politicians can put millions and millions of dollars away, so they don't care about if anybody else can. They know they're taken care of.
But it's mostly a failure of the education system. Like, who cares about the Pythagorean theorem? Like, if you're not an engineer, who gives a shit? But like,
yeah, they should be teaching kids how to balance a checkbook. And
yeah, that's the whole point. Like, most people don't even know how to like write a check. Like I remember going to college, and that was a long time ago. That was, you know, almost like 15 years ago, and I had people not even knowing how to write a check. I'm like, how are you supposed to be able to do anything with finance if you're, you know, a business major, don't even know how to write a check? I mean, this is the crazy stuff, the crazy world we live in. I mean, this is where you get like finance bros and all those kind of people that drive me up a wall.
Right.
But like the way I look at things, it's like most of the stuff is just making connections and just understanding a little bit of theory and just applying theory to practicality. But most of the time, if you're really good at picking up like scenarios and picking up patterns, you're going to do well in life. It's the people that don't know what to look for. Those are the people that get screwed. And that's the sad thing, is if you just teach people how to recognize patterns, most people that don't know patterns are going to do well. People that just don't recognize things, they're the ones that normally get screwed and then start blaming society and become insufferable to be around.
Exactly. Yes. And well, you know, I don't know, man. How did you feel? Because I'm sure you were alive back when Obama was in there. How did you feel about his speech patterns? Was he boring to you, or did you actually think he was a good speaker when it came to Obama?
I think as an orator, he's good, because depending on how you look at president, especially in a time when you're the first, you don't want to be the person that, in a sense, blows the system up. So like, if I'm the first, I mean, in that sense, if I'm the first black president, I want to live life on kind of on a safe mode a little bit, because if I decide to blow the system up, that's when you're going to get all the racists and all that stuff. So strategically, that's kind of why he took the boring route. But like, as an orator, he's definitely better than Trump. I mean, I hate to admit it, but if Biden and Trump actually had a debate, I think Biden would walk circles around Trump, because he's smart enough to put. Yeah, and trust me, I'm not a Democrat, so it pains me to admit it. But I think if you had to put a gun to my head and said, who would you pick would be a better orator, I would definitely say Biden. I mean, I would definitely say Obama over Trump. But but as much as Obama is better than Trump is leaps and bounds better than Biden. Like,
absolutely.
It's beyond obvious.
Like, Trump's in a really good seat. That's why he was able to just be so quiet last night when it came down to, you know, he didn't yell at fucking Biden. He didn't sit there and go, you know what, you're just old, you know?
Yeah, but the funny thing is, he did do digs, but it was
he did
all
mild
about
ones.
Yeah, but it's all about, I mean, he called him Brandon. That was hilarious. But his digs were, it was almost like he's learning that you're not supposed to be so visceral. Like, if you come off like a little bit on the monotone side of things, and you still dig at them, but you don't sound like you're just, you know, pushing your will into the situation, you're going to get more people's votes. I think he's learning, because that's the other thing. Obama's been a politician his whole life, in a sense. He was a lawyer.
Obama, Biden.
Yeah. Trump's just winging it. I mean, he's the definition of F it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if someone like screws him over, he's very vindictive. But at the same time, he's the kind of person, like, you want to go and have a drink with. Out of all the politicians you want to drink with, Trump would be probably the best, because he'd be the guy that would be telling you stories. He'd be the one that would be like, want to have a couple beers and get you drunk. Like, he'd be cool to hang out with, compared to all the other ones just seem like to be like your classic nerds. Not in a derogatory term, just more like don't really have a personality and, you know, kind of square, in a sense. Like, could you imagine having beers with Obama or Biden at this point? It'd be awkward.
Well, I know, you know, Trump would be more likely to have a Diet Coke with you or something. He doesn't drink alcohol or smoke or any of that shit. But at the same time, like, hanging out, I get what you're saying. like just hanging out with him, I would not want to hang out with somebody like Biden or Obama, either one of them. Because for Obama, I feel like that motherfucker is boring to the point where it would probably get on my nerves. And I've always noticed that when Obama speaks, even now when he's not been president for all this time, he's still, every other word is I, me, I, me.
Well, that's the thing with like A-type personality.
Sexy, you know.
Just in general, it's never the we. Like, one thing, I mean, that I would always recommend people to do is there's, in a sense, there's like personality tests that you can take, and they normally break you down into like 5 different categories. And once you understand those 5 different categories and can diagnose those kind of people,
Oh, you're lagging.
Okay. 1 second.
Yeah, you might want to give it a bit. I know my buddy Corey in the audience, man. He loves this thing. It's called grilled cheese Obama sandwich. I have to show that to you. It's funny as hell.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Grilled cheese Obama sandwich.
Nice.
And it's a grilled cheese sandwich. Thinking, it's great. Man, see, you like the politicals. All right. What do you think about? We're gonna keep in that line a little bit.
Okay.
What do you think the solution is to the declining birth rate? Ooh.
Well, sadly,
yeah,
it's going to become a in that sense, it's going to become a national issue at some point.
Yeah.
Because if you can't have the kids, everything is about demographics, especially in a democracy. Basically the saying is always the people that have the kids have the power. So the more, demographically, the more people that have the power have the bigger voting bloc,
right?
Which then can steer the country to do whatever you want. So, in a sense, if you're not having kids, you can't support a military, and most economies out there are growth-based. So you need more people. You need more younger people to support an aging population. So if you flip that, you're not going to have the people to support the aging population, and you're going to have economic collapse.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to go all Handmaid's Tale, where it's going to get that, but you can already see the dropping of the veil a little bit with like the abortion ban, and then taxes are starting to change where it's supporting more families and stuff like that. Like, if people aren't having kids, at some point, someone's going to force the issue. It's either going to be governments or it's going to be other religions. Hold up. Because if other religions are having more kids, like I can use Pennsylvania for an example, and I bring this up on most streams anyways. The Amish in Pennsylvania represent 30%. One county represents 30% of the births in the whole entire state. So in 2 generations, they're going to have the political power to do whatever the hell they want. They want to make Pennsylvania an Amish caliphate, they could.
Wow.
So that's what I mean. That's what I mean by like the birth rates. If you're not having kids, you're essentially losing your political power.
Right.
And someone's going to take that from you. And it's only going to be the people that you don't want.
It's like how China didn't. Does China still have a cap on the amount of kids you're allowed to have?
No, after the one-child policy, they're reverting, but the damage is already done. So
because they were running that for years.
Yeah, their projections are their population's gonna dip from like 1.1 billion to like 750,000 or 750 million.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have demographics collapse. Just like right now, the worst country on the planet is South Korea and then Japan, and they're having policies right now where Japan is trying to get Western men to marry their daughters so they can increase their birth rates, and they're paying them like 750,000 yen to basically have kids. So that's what I mean. Like, governments are going to start incentivizing families.
That's right, guys.
It's already
Put your
happening.
jizz in that girl. Put your jizz in
I'm
that
just-
girl. And also, you know, go to streamelements.com/trippycast. Streamelements.com/trippycast. Don't worry. I promise I won't split any of the money with our guest. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm not getting down here. We're going to have to talk at the end of the stream, Trippy.
Huh? Yeah?
Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
That's fine. That's fine. He's my, he's here against his will.
Yep. I'm going to be
Yeah.
kicking and screaming.
So,
you know how
Rock
that
the Cast boss. Rock the Cast boss said, "Where do I sign up?"
I mean, in a sense, you already see it happening in most states anyways. Like, there's the one side that likes to get rid of their kids and the other side that wants to keep their kids. If all those people decide to keep aborting their kids and the one side decides to keep their kids, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize the people that have the kids are going to change the country to their will compared to the people that are aborting their kids. So, I mean, that's just the way things work. I don't know how to explain it any easier than that. The people that have the kids are always going to have the power.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, mostly. I mean, because, well, I mean, actually, I don't think many
we're
people think
speaking in
about it.
general terms. We're
Yeah,
speaking
yeah.
in general terms here. Like, there's always going to be the exception. People are not a monolith. I understand all that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if we're speaking in generalities, that's mostly the case.
Of course.
And to be honest with you, like, once you do decide to have kids, like, it's the first time in your whole entire life where you have to actually put someone above yourself. If assuming you're right in the head, most people it's the first time they actually put themselves over or put someone else over themselves. And then once that happens, a lot of other things in your life clicks, because most of the time when you're kind of making good in your career wise and making good in your personal life, it's always about sacrifice. So once you start focusing on others more than yourself, that's normally when a lot of good stuff normally happens for you. It's only when you become selfish is when, like, everything just decides to collapse around you.
Right. And you know what? Selfish, that would be every politician we've ever had as a politician anywhere on the planet is selfish. They're all selfish.
Yes. And what normally happens to them when they're done?
Oh,
They normally
disappear
get forgotten.
into
They become
obscurity.
alcoholic.
Nobody pays them
become
any
alcoholics.
attention.
Yep.
Nobody pays them attention, so they can't watch the sleight of hand.
Yeah, as you keep stealing the orange soda from me, I'm getting a little upset.
I was just wailing it around the whole studio, actually. That's because taking care of business in the chat was like, it's hard to recognize the clown without the Fago. Yeah, I get it.
But
Oh,
I
man.
mean, I try, in a sense, I try to not talk about politics unless the person's okay with it, because, you know, it's always a hot button issue with most people, because especially in our divided world, it's really hard to judge people when it comes to politics. And that's why I was like talking about before, like, if you take a personality test, there's only 4 groups of people, and if you can recognize the different groups of people, the better you're going to understand who you're talking to.
Yeah.
And that really helps you, like, deal with a lot of your personal biases or problems, is just understanding the people that you're talking to.
Right.
Because I know it sounds kind of like trivial, but it's kind of like, especially if you have more of an analytical mind, which I feel like you probably do, it's a game changer, because it definitely makes you understand people's shortcomings and what they're good at, and then you just play to what they're good at, and normally everybody is happy.
Right. Well, I'm thinking they got rid of Roe versus Wade to try to help increase the birth rate. What do you think?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Yeah, and the other thing is, it wasn't a law to begin with. Like, the thing that they never talk about is, okay, they made it a law through the court system. However, they had 50 freaking years to pass a law to make abortion the law of the land, and they never did it. So whose fault is it that? I mean, the Democrats in the last 50 years had, the House, the Senate, and the White House 4 or 5 times.
Right.
So they could have made abortion the law of the land, but they didn't do it. So they're just butthurt at this point. And to be honest with you, it should be a state's issue because it's not protected. It's not protected by the Constitution. If you understand the Constitution, it says if it doesn't fall within the Commerce Clause, it goes back to the states, and that's where it should be.
That's right.
But the where it gets kind of muddy is because we now have socialized medicine, and the government's paying for it. Now the government is a stakeholder, and this is the scary part. Like anytime you give the government a stakeholder in your life, they're going to run with it, and they're going to do what they feel is right because since they're paying for it, they have a right in who gets care. That's why it's always a bad idea when you have governments get involved with stuff like this because they're not having the best interest of you. They're having the best interest of not paying you. They're insurance companies in a sense. Do they want to dish out the money? No. So what are they going to try to do? Either do it on the cheap or cut your because I do work in the medical field and in a little bit of insurance. So there's a thing called MMI, which is maximum medical improvement. So that's when insurance company says you for example, you get in a car accident and you mess up your back. Okay.
Yeah.
The insurance company is going to say, okay, you have 12 treatments at a chiropractor. Okay. And then you're going to have to do a follow-up, and then they're going to look at your x-rays and they're going to look at your muscles and everything else from a nurse. And it's not even a doctor, it's a nurse that does this. And the nurse is going to say, oh, you look like, even though you're in severe pain and you have lost like 30% of your mobility with your arm in this example, they're going to say, oh, the bone structure looks okay, the muscles look good, this is the best you're going to do, and they'll cut your funding. So basically you become MMI, and then everything else is out of pocket. And this is why I'm a firm against government spending it, because their whole vested interest is to get you at MMI as fast as possible. Your vested interest is to get the treatment to get better, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. I want someone to pay for it until I get better. So that conflict of interest is always going to be a problem, and that's where you see today. That's why governments care about Roe versus Wade, because their vested interest is we want to have the population grow.
Right.
Well, society is the opposite. I mean, you look at climate change, you look at abortions, you look at people saying that they don't have the money to raise a family, all this stuff, and they want to not have kids, but the government wants to make you have kids. So how do you reconcile that problem? And
exactly.
When your personal beliefs are the opposite of what the stakeholders or the government wants you to do, you're kind of the low person on the totem pole. They don't really care about your opinion.
Yeah, well, they don't give a fuck about anybody. And then you got groups and groups and groups of people that just want to do drugs and bang at parties and then turn around the next day and either do morning after pills or wait a few months, weeks, whatever, and then go the abortion route as birth control. There's too many people that want to use that as birth control.
Yeah, and well,
in my opinion.
But
I'm from the ghetto, so I see it all the time.
You're always going to have a part of the population that's going to obfuscate responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
There's the people that decide to take responsibility is so small part of the population. I mean, you were talking maybe max end, and people take accountability is probably like 15, 20%. And I'm being generous here, of the population. The rest of the people, if they had the ability to not take responsibility and to wipe away their problems, they'll do it even if it's a detriment to themselves.
Yes, they will. Because that's where they're comfortable. They want to just be able to fuck, and then erase all their mistakes. Or that's what they think they're doing. Hey, Spirit. But of course, in reality, if all you do is abort, when, every pregnancy you get ends up being gotten rid of that way, you're going to end up ruining, as a woman, they're going to end up ruining their internals and making it so that they can't actually produce, a baby or A baby without special needs, even.
I was reading up studies like there's a thing that's like bed PMS, which is it's PPSI. I forget what that stands for, but it's like PMS on steroids, and you get that from taking birth control. So it actually makes your periods. Yeah. So there's a lot of
from the birth control pills that actually slow or reduce the period for weeks and months.
Yeah. Well, the thing comes down to this: anytime you decide to change your body's chemistry on any level, you take head medicine, you take sleeping pills, anything that messes with the brain's chemistry.
Yeah.
Assuming that you're your baseline person, you don't have natural problems to begin with. But if your baseline where you have no mental illness, you're doing okay. Once you start messing with your brain chemistry, like bad things happen. I mean, look at the active pews out there for schools. They're all on SSRIs. They're all, and the thing is, some of them, was it by choice that they needed the meds? Yes, but some of them were perfectly good humans, and they got diagnosed with ADD, and then they went down this rabbit hole, and then they end up doing stuff because their whole brain's chemistry's changed. So like you got to be very cognizant if you're changing different levels in your body that you don't really need to survive, then bad things can happen. And most of the time, most people, they're probably better off not doing anything and being a better manager of their health if they didn't take meds than if they did.
Yeah, that's pretty common. I mean, and then you get all the people that also, self-medicate. And then they end up having some disease they don't even realize they do because their body's like drunk all the fucking time.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you're always in that state of mind, you're going to need more and more to get into that state of mind. So
exactly.
Like if you drink,
weed, alcohol.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I actually know someone that was addicted. I mean, I know this is going to sound weird to most people, but they were addicted to weed. If they didn't have weed, they didn't smoke up that day, their body chemistry was completely different. They became an asshole. They were going through withdrawal. Like, it was the weirdest thing. I've never seen that before. So someone that, smokes.
Well, it's excessive. But it's like if somebody smokes every single day and it's always, getting high, and then they go without it for a day or multiple days, their brain goes, hey, we're missing something that we think we need. It's a mental addiction. Because I've known many people that were like that level of addicted when it came to weed. It's like they wouldn't shake, they wouldn't, do a lot of the things considered to be, addictive reaction, but they're like you said, their mental state would be different. They'd be a little bit more on edge. They'd be more ready to like jump down your throat.
But like even using the analogy of just smoking cigarettes, like if you stop smoking for a year, you gain your taste buds back. Like you can sense more things around you. It doesn't dull everything, and that's half the problem with a lot of people. They don't feel like they can quote unquote feel anything anymore. So what do they do? They start taking drugs, and then they realize, hey, I'm feeling less, and then you devolve down into like depression from that, because you feel like you're broken. You feel like, oh, I can't feel. I know I should be feeling something, but I can't feel because my senses are all numb because I keep doing drugs, and then that makes me depressed, which then makes me want to do more drugs, and then you're just in this snowball that you can't get out of. That like destroys your life.
Yeah, dude. My stepdad was addicted to alcohol.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
sorry to hear.
Yeah, he had like a distended belly and shit because his stomach was, his liver was probably enlarged. We don't know because he never would go to the doctor. I mean, he was addicted. I don't care anymore, But yeah, I mean, you can't keep doing something in excess your entire life and expect it to be okay.
Well, and the other life lesson is like temperance, in a sense of like being able to control your emotions, being able to control your feelings. Like if you're in that type of personality that, you have an addictive personality, which a good part of the population definitely has, like you should always be safeguarding that in a sense, because it it's more of like a Band-Aid on the situation. You're not dealing with your core problems. And I'm
I
not
know
saying
I
everybody
got
should.
You know,
I'm not saying everybody needs to go to a psychologist. I'm not saying that, but a lot of problems can be dealt with just dealing with your own shit.
I know I've
is
got
it
an
gonna-
addictive personality. There's tons of people addicted to my personality. I should sell it like a drug.
Yeah, you do. That's why they pay you the big bucks.
They haven't been yet. Anyways, just trying, man. Just trying. I need somebody to go in there and test that fucking Stream Elements because I don't even know if it can accept donations at this point. It's been like 2 weeks. Anyway, oh man, I got some more natural interview questions. I just don't know where I put them. So give me a hot second. Oh, I found it.
Well, I'm an open book,
quick.
so you can ask me anything. So
How much? What now?
no, I'm saying I'm an open book. You can ask me anything.
Oh.
Again,
I thought you said to the chat $100 and you can ask me anything. I was like, wait a minute, what?
No. I'm not a whore.
Oh no, Garuda Legends. We're not talking about weed being a problem. We're just saying like it is definitely. People definitely do get mentally addicted to the feeling of having the buzz. I've known lots of people that were like that. Hell, before I was even in high school, we had a family friend of ours was like that, and like she would be smoking weed with her bud or whatever, and then as soon as they got down to like their last joint, this girl was like, let's get all the bottles together, we're gonna take them back and then we'll have weed money, or I'm gonna go check all the cushions in my car and see if I can find $5 for a little baggie of weed. This was a long time ago, as you can tell. The pricing was way different.
Yeah, but
or
it's the same principle. It's you're chasing after the next high. That's when you have. If you're doing recreationally and you're not really addicted to it, you're just doing it for do it a couple times a month or a couple times a week, and I'm not addicted to it. I don't really need it. It's nice to have, but I'm not addicted to it.
Yeah,
that's fine. But it's when it goes into, I'm chasing the next high, or I need to save money for the next high. That's when you know you're having an issue.
Well, I am absolutely addicted to cigarettes. Like, I give you that right now. But like when I was 15 is when I started smoking weed, right? Smoked weed every single day, except for maybe like a couple of days here or there, all the way up until I was 22. And then I just quit cold turkey. 10 years straight, nothing, right? And then I started up again about 4 years ago. About 6 years ago. Smoked for about 2 years, and then I quit cold turkey again. Haven't touched it since.
I was in your situation. Like I can't even smoke. Like it gives me such a frontal migraine that it feels like someone just punched me in my forehead like multiple times. So like the people that enjoy it, more power to you, but I can't. I'm one of the few people that, smoking actually makes me miserable.
Yep. Yeah, or eating a Bisco said back when nickel bags were a thing. Yeah, $5 for a bag of weed, and be about like a joint and a half, maybe, if you didn't roll like a super fat joint. But
I mean, we're talking like early 2000s, late 90s.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then when I was in high school, we had this friend Tina. She wasn't in school with us. She was just a friend of a friend of a friend. She was a little older than me and my buddies. And Tina would come over and she'd be like, let's smoke. We smoke. We're out of weed. She's like, I call my boyfriend. He's got some, because he was a dealer. And she'd call him. He wouldn't answer. And she'd be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go back to the house. I know where he stashes it. I'll grab us some. And she'd come back with like a half an ounce.
Oh, Jesus.
Dude, like the one night she called us and she was like, I'm doing my GED test tomorrow. So tonight's the last night that I'm smoking weed. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. So she comes over with like a full ounce, and it was me. It was me, Tina, my mom was smoking, my mom's friend, Shannon, I think. And then, was it my stepdad and one other dude. So there was 6 of us, and we were sitting in my basement, and we had 4 blunts going. So it was like every time you took a hit, somebody was handing you another blunt. So you take a hit, you take another blunt, you hit that, you pass it, you pass the other one, whatever. And by the time you passed it, you were already receiving one. It was insane. Like, the amount of smoke that was in that basement got my cats high. Our cats are running around. They're acting funny. We're laughing at them. You know, we're smoking more weed. And then by the end of the night, I think we put away a whole ounce.
Oh, Jesus.
And, yeah, and then the next day, she went and took her GED test, and she passed.
Nice.
And I was like, well, now that you passed your GED test, you going to start smoking weed? She goes, yeah, no, yeah, maybe, no, yeah. I was like, well, what the fuck are you doing? She was like, I'm going to college. And then, then she went to college. I don't know really what happened after that. But yeah. And it was funny, man, because I was buddies with her boyfriend. And like the one day I bought some weed, I called him up. He comes over. He's like, hey, man, I want you to come outside, check out the van I just bought. It was like an old full-size van. Okay. That's what he liked. He liked the big vans. And I go out there and I was like, what the fuck happened to your windshield? And he goes, who do you think? And I was like, Tina did it? He goes, yeah, man. I'm like, why? Right? And he goes, well, she was partying. I went and picked her up. She didn't have any more weed. And I didn't want to give her any free weed because I've been giving her too much. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, I told her no. And she took her bare foot and she kicked my windshield from the inside. And there was like a little circle the size of her heel in his windshield from the inside, poking out. I was like, holy shit, dude. He goes, yeah, she might be small, but she's strong as fuck.
Yeah, she's like the muscle of her freaking heel.
Yeah, dude, straight up just a heel right into the windshield, barefoot.
Wow.
And I was like, well, is that why you're with her? He was like, and he like winked. I'm like, oh, I guess that's why you're with her then.
Yeah,
funny as fuck, man.
You gotta take the good with the bad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of thing, man. That's the kind of shit we got. We got the partiers who just want to keep, fucking and no rubber and catching a pregnancy like it's an STD, and then going to the doctor and having that thing popped out of there. So that, it's almost like taking an antibiotic for a baby.
I mean, to be honest with you, some people do view like pregnancy as, a disease or a foreign body or something like that. So yeah, I mean, you're not far off. I mean, yeah. I don't feel that.
Me neither.
Life, but like, because I got 2 kids already, and I don't want to I couldn't imagine life without them.
Right.
At all.
That's how every guy, every girl I know that had a baby unexpectedly, or whatever, ended up with having a kid for the first time in their life. Every single one of them that I know has either like quit acting like, quit acting a fool so they could take care of their kid, or, stepped away from drugs because, they got a kid to take care of. Of course, that's not every single fucking person ever, but most of my friends have.
That's what I was talking about earlier in the stream. Like, if you having kids is one of the few opportunities in your life where you got to put someone else above yourself. Yep. And once you start doing that's a game changer. It changes every aspect of your life. It's not just one thing. Everything changes. Like, you can almost view it as like a life, like if you look at a video game, like a life achievement award. Like, once you receive it, everything changes. It's like leveling up in a sense. You like, there was the time where you could have done something and now I can do something else. So everything changes.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, personally, I haven't had that happen except for with the diabetes. Like, when I found out I was diabetic, I started changing every fucking aspect. Yeah.
I mean, you're not far off in the same.
It's self-preservation, though.
But it's a life-changing moment that literally you can say there was pre-diabetes and there's post-diabetes. So how do I deal with these 2 different worlds? Like, I can't eat the same. I have to be more, cognizant of what's going on and everything like that.
Yep.
Can I put you on hold for 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, thanks.
I'll shoot the audience in their faces. Yeah. Sorry, I picked up an action figure that happened to have a gun in his hand. we're gonna let Bandit do his thing for a moment, and then he's gonna put me on hold. He forgot to mute. Oh man, hey guys, you know how I bought that 1989 Batmobile collector fucking thing? It came with the Batmobile, and eventually, I actually did get the action figure, right? Well, I was messing around with it the other day, and well, basically, right now I've got my little Keaton figure to sit in the Batmobile, and I realize the Keaton figure only comes with punchy hands, right? Like he's only got fistuses. So I took the damn thing, and I don't know if I told you guys, but the first one of those Batmobiles I got from Amazon, it came with a random ass action figure in it because somebody returned it and like repacked it, and Amazon just sold it to my ass like it was new. Well, it turns out that the action figure that was in there is from the TV series on Netflix called The Witcher. Right? I don't even know what character it is, but it came without a head. So I can only imagine that somebody used the head in some other display they were making. I don't know. So that being said, it did come with 2 open hands, right? So I popped them bitches off of the Witcher action figure and put them on my 89 Batman. So now you can actually grip the steering wheel. I'm just saying, right? You try to fuck me over by sending me the wrong shit, getting Amazon to screw me over, random person who I'll never know or meet. That's right. I'll take your screw up, your purposeful trying to screw somebody else, and I'll turn it into a win for myself by making my Batman actually drive the Batmobile with his hands, putting him on the steering wheel.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Welcome back. I was telling the audience how I got screwed over by some random person that sent something back to Amazon. Oh. And then Amazon sold it to me as new. Yeah, dude, $78 for a Batmobile that was supposed to come with a 89 Keaton figure, right? Okay. Didn't come with the figure. I ended up getting this headless figure from the Witcher TV series.
Oh, jeez. That's not even close.
I asked Star about it, and she gave me the phone number directly to Amazon, like their help service. And I talked to the lady on there, and I was like, I didn't get an action figure with it at all. And she's like, oh, you didn't get part of your product. I'm like, right. And she was like, so, okay, we got 2 choices. You can either have your money back, or we can send a new one out, and hopefully you'll get the piece that you're missing. And I was like, okay, I'll take the replacement, but do I have to like send the original back? And she goes, no, we're not going to ask you to send something back when you didn't receive the product. And I was like, okay, so how much does the replacement cost? And she goes, nothing. And I was like, okay. So I get off the phone with her, and I got a hold of Star, and I was like, thanks for giving me that number. I guess I'm getting a new one of these in the box with the action figure with it. And I did. So now I got my Keaton figure, and I took the hands off of the Witcher figure somebody fucked me over for, or with, right? Because they stuck a Witcher action figure in the box with the Batmobile. I took that Witcher, and I popped his hands off, and I gave him to the 89 Batman so he can actually hold the steering wheel.
Oh, there you go. So it actually worked out in the end.
Yeah, I force things to work out. That's how I've gotten so many girls to let me put it in their butt. No.
Life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. There you go.
Yeah, right. Around the corner, fudge is made. So, yeah, that was terrible. I'm terrible. You guys should pay me for that joke. Anyways, hey, here you go. Regular interview questions. Number 1.
Okay.
If you can think of it, what was your favorite food as a kid?
As a kid? Wow.
Yeah.
Homemade sloppy Joe.
Oh, okay. See, we always get a different answer for that. Do you still like it?
I do.
You do? That's good.
Yeah, because I got the old school like Amish recipe for it, so it's a little different than. Yeah, so yeah.
Dude,
good stuff.
It's like a lot of people would answer something like, chicken nuggets or something like that, and of course they still like that, but I haven't gotten sloppy Joe just yet.
Well, if it's done correctly, especially if you put like, some good Mexican cheese on top of it, it's superb.
That sounds good.
It's so really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got an Amish market down the road. One time I tried to go there, and they had a sign on the door. Sorry, no electricity. We're closed today. And I was like, wait a minute. Aren't they Amish?
Well, they could be. I mean, they could be Mennonite. So Mennonite
That's what I'm thinking.
are basically Amish with technology, or they could be Heterite, which is a different type of Amish. Which, I mean, I know way too much about that stuff because it's in my area. But like, Heterites are basically Amish, but they believe in technology. But they had the highest birth rate in the whole entire country in like the 50s and 60s. They were averaging like 9 to 12 kids per family.
Holy crap.
Yeah, talk about a baseball team.
Yeah, dude, one day I walked past the gas station over here because there's this gas station where they had a fire like 4 years ago, and they were closed for like 2 years straight. And one day I was just taking a walk, and I go past them, and they were getting their roof fixed because apparently what happened was somebody got mad at the gas station, walked out and lit a match, and they had this like stack of firewood right next to the building, like just stacked up there. You could buy it. And I guess they threw a match on it, and it caused part of the gas station to burn up. So like that's why it was closed for so long. But when I walked past, there was a bunch of Amish folk fixing the roof, and classic Irish, like the button-up shirt, the beard, the hat.
I mean, that's one of the things that they're great at. They'll do a roof in like no time, and they do the complicated ones like the slate roofs. That's
what they were doing.
Slate, because that's when you know your Mennonite is slate roofs. It's one of those things that once you see it, you understand.
Right.
It's one of those wink, wink. You know, are you Mennonite? Well, do you have a slate roof? Like, there's a couple different tells.
Mm-hmm. That's
because I did construction for a little bit, so yeah, doing roofing was not fun.
Damn.
Especially
This. That's how it works, man. And of course, the guys who run the gas station, they're all Middle Eastern.
Yep, that makes sense.
I used to talk to the one guy that worked up there.
To answer, since you asked the question, what was your childhood favorite food?
Don't remember. I'm trying to think because I haven't really thought of it for myself. Geez. I know I liked broccoli a lot. It was like a weird random favorite, but yeah, it was at least my favorite veggie.
Now, the question with broccoli is cheese or no cheese?
Cheese.
Mozzarella?
Cheese for sure. Yeah. I don't know which one, actually. Like, just as long as there's some cheese there. Hell, I'll eat it raw, though. You know? All by itself. No salt or anything. Like, I do that even now.
Did you ever try to grow your own?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, like, one day, I think...
it's not an easy one to grow.
I don't know if you were there. I don't think you were there. But I know one night it was either Discord or Instagram. There was like a group chat that I was in. And I had my camera on it. I just broke out a whole ass thing of broccoli and I bit into it. I think the Star was there. She was like, "Are you just eating broccoli by itself?" I was like, "Yeah." You know, like crunch, crunch, crunch. Yeah, I am.
Like a ham bone? Like you just a whole freaking thing of broccoli and just
like a clove of broccoli or whatever the hell it's called, you know?
Yeah.
Just bit into
it. There's worse. Trust me, there's worse things you can eat than broccoli.
Oh, absolutely. Wash it down with a big drink of Coke Zero. You know, that's super healthy.
Yeah. There you go. Well, you broke even. You eat something healthy and you eat something not healthy, so good to go.
Yeah, right. I know I went into a live chat once. I don't think it was on YouTube, but I went to a live chat once and I go, "I ate a carrot today. That means I'm the healthiest person in this chat." You know?
That's fair.
Yeah. It was probably pretty close to right, to be honest.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing, man. I mean, like, you can eat as healthy as you want, but if you're sitting on your ass all day, it's not going to help. That's right, madness in the chat, in the live chat. That's right, I'm calling you out. I don't even know what the guy eats. I just felt like saying his name.
You know, madness, you can do better.
Yeah, man, he could do a lot better. He said I've done
Yeah,
that once as well.
If
This is
you
the
do have
broccoli.
any Amish questions, I can help you out with it because I see them all the time. I used to go to Lancaster all the time. Especially the best thing I would say if you want to talk about food wise, they have an Amish all you can eat buffet. So just
Nice.
imagine how good that food is.
I bet. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen the movie Sex Drive?
No.
No. Oh wow.
No.
That's actually
Is it
the
like
movie
Witness?
Huh?
Is it like Witness?
I don't know. It's a road trip movie.
Okay.
Basically, it's like a road trip comedy, and that's actually the movie that taught me what Rumspringa was.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah, it's got Seth Green in it, and he plays an Amish guy, and like he helps the main characters fix their '69 GTO Judge.
Okay.
Like he rides up when the car is broken, and the dude standing next to it looks up at him, and Seth Green's character, he goes, "You need any help?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, but," and then he looks at like the carriage. He's like, "I mean, come on." And Seth looks at him. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you with your '69 GTO Judge with the Ram Air," and the like starts naming different parts of the car. He's like, "Oh, I don't know where you got that space machine, sir, but I'll talk to you later." And then just starts riding away. And the guy goes, "Wait, come back." And then they end up, going to the Amish community.
It kind of sounds like the premise for the bowling movie. Oh, I forget what that's called. The one
Bowfinger?
with yeah,
No, not Bowfinger.
no,
It's,
with Woody Harrelson.
the Kingpin.
Kingpin, yes.
Took me a
Sounds
minute.
like the plot for Kingpin.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I mean, for that little portion of the movie, like,
Yeah.
yeah, because they end up going back to the Amish community, and he teaches them like on the drive what Rumspringa was, because he's like, that's how I learned how to build, how to fix old cars. And he tells me, he's like, I don't even think I'm supposed to be talking to you, but like it's all right. They'll let me bring it back, and we'll fix your car.
Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting time because they also grow weed too, which is hilarious. I forget what they call it.
Green corn.
Yeah, green. Yeah.
I only know that because of that TV show that was on for a short period on like I think it was Discovery Channel.
Yeah,
And
it
it
sounds
was-
something.
Yeah, it was supposed to be about different people leaving the Amish community and like what happens in the community and shit. And they kept bringing up green corn. So like, this guy's basically a gang member, but he's an Amish gang member, and he grows green corn. It's because of the shape of the bud, I guess.
Yeah,
But-
and a lot of them don't have past the a ninth grade education, so it looks a little bit like corn. It probably
That's corn. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's corn
Probably
now.
Yeah, no.
Dude, well, we should start a band, call it Green Corn.
That would be cool.
Pretty good
I'll
band
put-
name.
I'll play bass for it. There we go.
Yeah, we can get self-help. That
Yeah,
came
we
out weird.
could.
Self. That's hard to say. Change your name, you bastard.
Nice.
Yeah, right. Self. Bah.
Do you have any other questions for me?
During Yom Kippur, how many Amish broads or dudes did you bang? Oh man, that wasn't from me. I think you know who that one was from.
Or
Yeah.
that's like crossing religions here.
Oh my god. Well, it's from a certain self. So
Yeah.
see, he got an early question in. That's what happened. He said, during Yom Kippur, how many Amish broads or dudes did you bang?
Well, I mean, the community is still like an hour away, so I'm in the suburbs of Philly, so I'm relatively close, but I'm not like super close.
Jeez.
But I mean, you can go to Amish markets. Every town has its own Amish market in the suburbs. So I mean, in that sense, but it's one of those things. Like if you look at a one Amish chick, you've seen them all. They all seem to. I mean, of course, because of the inbreeding at some level, they all have the same facial structure. So it's like you can almost like doesn't matter what they're wearing, you can definitely tell that they're Amish if you know what to look for.
Yeah. I had heard about that through.
Once you see it, you don't unsee it. It's one
I
of
think
those
it was
things
on
like
Spike TV. They mentioned that like the inbreeding of Amish women or Amish people helps the women to keep weight off. I was like, that's weird. It was an old Spike TV thing, so I don't know how true it is. Here it is.
that makes no sense because how think about it. If you're always walking or because this is their mode of transportation, so you have the buggy, which they're actually not actually doing anything. Everything else is that they have to use their own muscle. So it's either a lot of the women, they don't even have bikes. They have the old school like 1960s style like scooters that is like a platform in a sense. There's no gears. So that's the thing. Like you're going uphill. That's all you. There's no like mechanical advantage or anything like that. So in a sense, like finding a fat Amish person is like unheard of. The quote like Weird Al, it's unheard of. Like you're not gonna find someone.
It's unheard of. Yeah.
You're not going to, especially if they have to go anywhere. I mean, think about it. You hop in a car and you have to go 3 miles. You don't even think about it. Like, okay, I'm going to the grocery store. Well, imagine if you have to take a bicycle to the grocery store every single time, and you don't have any gears. So you're driving your old kid bike that doesn't have any gears. Your old mountain bike, not mountain bike, like street bike, and then now you have to go up the hills. It doesn't matter the weather, but you're not going to be a fat person. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
And the other thing is they're eating all natural. Like there's no artificial crap in their food. It's straight up, from farm to mouth. And that's another reason why they're always skinny, because all the preservatives that we have in our food is all toxic. Yeah. That's why people get bloating issues. That's why people are gaining weight, because there's two things. Like I'll have to pull a study for you, but like they did a study from like 1970 to today, and like since we factory farm so much, we're only getting like 75% of the nutrients out of our food. That's why you see like skinny people that are fat. You're technically starving to death, and that's why you're putting on weight even though you're skinny.
Right. That's why your stomach is out like that.
Yes, it's because your body is just craving for the nutrients.
Right.
And you don't have it. So, but if you grow your own food, you never have those issues. That's why I always try to push people on a stream that everybody should have their own victory garden if you have the space. Grow your own food. It tastes so much better. And you'll be happier. You'll feel better. Like a lot of your health issues go away when you start eating healthy. It's when you start eating like processed foods is when your health, and then your personality goes down because you get depressed. All that stuff is all processed food shit.
Very true. I mean, I've known many people that had their own little gardens and stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. If you, especially like stuff that's simple, like even growing like lettuce. Like I can't tell you how much money I've saved growing my own lettuce and making my own salads, and they taste so much better. And the food lasts 3 times the length. Like I can have lettuce last like 2 months after being picked.
Damn.
Like, yeah, it tastes so much better. You feel better. Like, give it a shot. And it doesn't take a rocket science to grow lettuce. You stick it in the ground and it grows. Like it's basically low. As long as you water it, it's good to go.
Low maintenance, huh? So have you seen those videos where people boil lettuce and then drink the water and it like puts them to sleep?
No, but I mean, there's probably something in the lettuce that makes you tired. I mean, because in a sense, any kind of leafy green is tough on the stomach, and if you're putting a lot of energy into your stomach, that always makes you tired. I mean, think about it like lunchtime. You eat lunch, you're at work, you're sitting in a cubicle, and then like 2 o'clock hits, and you get like your sugar levels drop. You get tired because you just ate, because all your blood's going into your digestive system. It's the same. I mean, it's the same premise. Like anything that's leafy greens is always going to be tough on the stomach. So if you're eating a lot of leafy greens, you're going to have stomach stuff. So you're going to get tired, but you'll feel better though.
That's right. That's why every vegan craps their pants every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just true. Just true.
They're just miserable because they can't eat meat. So,
That's
just
true.
just put that on the back of your head. Like,
Yeah.
they can't eat meat, that's why they're miserable.
Oh, absolutely. What Self, are you asking us when Rumspringa is? Because I'm pretty sure it's when you're like 16 or something like that. It's not like a time of year, I don't think, right?
It's a rite of passage, either 16 or 18.
Okay,
You get
so age.
Yeah, it's
So it's a specific age, and then you get to go out into the world for what? A year?
Here we go. I'm looking it up on Wiki right now. So Rumspringa is a rite of passage during adolescence, translated from the original Palatine German and other Southwest German dialects as jumping or hopping around. Rumspringa occurs mostly between ages of 17 and 21. So it's when you quote unquote become a man or a woman. In that. So just to give you some context with it, it's basically it's a test with your religion. So you can either decide to be part of the community and take the Amish route and the religious route where you become Amish in a sense and have to follow all the customs of that, or you can quote unquote be a heathen in their eyes and basically join the normal Western world, but you get excommunicated from the community. So I mean, in a sense, it's very similar to the concept of like Scientology, where if you're not part of the religion, you get excommunicated. So
yeah, I watched that Lair Remini thing.
Yeah, so basically, in a sense, they want you to come to terms with it. They're in a sense giving you the choice. You either join the community and follow these rules, or you become your own person. But at that side, you become excommunicated from the community. That becomes your family, your extended family, and you have no safety net. So you have all these people with like a 9th grade education now have to like survive in the modern world. So I mean, talk about not being set up to survive. I mean, could you imagine like okay, you had the education of an 8th to 10th grader, and then you have to survive in the world. Like, I mean, that's life on hard mode.
Right.
And you
know
don't
there's
have
a certain YouTuber that does shorts about it because he left the Amish community.
Yeah.
And I was watching his videos. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was talking about how when he was a kid, that's where he lost a lot of his teeth when he was like 14, 15, because he had some rot in his teeth. And he said that the Amish dentist would just pull them out. There was nothing else that they did. They'd just yank them.
Yeah. And wasn't Star saying a couple of streams ago, if I was watching it, that they have the technology now where they can actually grow enamel back?
I think Torch brought that up during the interview that they did. I don't know if it's actually there yet, though. Because I saw the same ad. I just didn't read it. Because
if that's the case, I mean, that's a life change. Think about it. You never have to get, caps on teeth. You never are going to have to get, dentures or, cavities, in a sense. You could just, like, rub a cream on your tooth and it grows the enamel back. Like,
right.
That's pretty amazing. Because, I mean, if you want to look at health-wise, most like gum disease leads to like heart disease and a lot of stuff. So you can fix people's, if you can picture like solving your dental issues, you could probably extend the average person's life by at least like 10, 15 years. Because that leads to like heart disease, leads to like kidney failure, because you're basically getting septic shock through your system. Like, so I think, this might be one of those big game changers where you're going to have people that have like metal in their mouth, like, silver caps, to, people in the next generation. They're going to be living the next 10, 15 years because of it.
That could be amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
Could be truly amazing. But I don't know how, like, how far along it is. I know it's a Japanese thing. that they've been working on it in Japan. It's supposed to regrow teeth. I don't know if it's tech or if it's a pill or what.
Well, at that point, it's got to be some kind of stem cell kind of thing, because the only way my understanding of, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but the only way my understanding with teeth, with any kind of growing stuff back, has got to be some kind of stem cell.
Right, like activating the healing aspects of the human body kind of thing. Because I've seen X amount of videos, I don't know how many fucking videos, where somebody claims that they grew a digit back, finger or whatnot. There was a video that went, I think, mostly viral. I don't know. Got a lot of views back in the day of this lady claiming that she grew the tip of her pinky back after losing it in the screen door accident where it slammed on her finger.
Okay.
And she claimed that she used a powdered pig's bladder.
So I'm looking it up right now, and it's saying scientists are developing methods that can allow humans to regrow teeth in the future. Stem cells have been used to fill cavities and encourage tissue regrowth naturally. While the enamel or other outer portions of our teeth don't regenerate, the next layers your dentine does. However, this development is new and needs more research before it's available for humans. In the meantime, So I mean, there's a lot of other breakthroughs that have come out in the last 2 years too. Like, they've been able to take skin cells and turn them into egg cells. So, in a sense, the only thing they haven't been able to reproduce at this point is a sperm. If they can figure out how to do that, then you could basically, in a sense, hermaphrodite yourself, because you can already mix egg cells. So, in a sense, a guy in theory could make turn himself into a hermaphrodite. In a sense, you can take a skin cell and turn it into an egg cell, and then fertilize himself. Sounds kind of weird. I don't want to live in a world like I don't want to live in a world like that. Yeah, but I'm just saying, you run into things like that where it's like we were creating problems that we never really had in our past that are now going to be
almost out of boredom too.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Like, remember the movie Idiocracy, how they point out that scientists devoted too much time to curing baldness and erectile dysfunction,
Yeah. That's a great, I really wish they made a sequel to that.
Now, it still holds up too. It gets better with age because it's more and more realistic as time goes on, it seems.
Well, I mean, Matt Judge is a genius for one. The predictions that he's done, I mean, he's bringing back Beavis and Butthead. I can't even imagine how they're gonna roast MTV and stuff. He's always been all his movies have been 5 or 10 years in the future, in a sense.
Beavis and Butthead's already back out. Been out for a minute now, and it's good. It's good, man. They don't just show MTV shit. They've gone over Twitch streamers and stuff. I should write a damn letter to Mike Judge. Go over my show on Beavis and Butthead, motherfucker. They'd probably like it. But yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of the new Beavis and Butthead. It's got a lot of really, really funny shit. Instead of it just being them two on the couch watching stuff, they do a lot more of them out in the world interacting with people. I mean, which I know they did on the old show. I'm just saying it seems more prominent in the newer series. Because I think there's 2 seasons of it, maybe 3. But it's all on a streaming service, so a lot of people don't know because they're thinking it would come back on MTV. But of course, Paramount owns MTV, so they're just gonna stick it on the Paramount app. For y'all out in the chat, in case you're looking for it, hit me up in the DMs. I'll give you a free website to watch it on. I use F movies for everything. There, I gave it to you. Pay me. But anyway, I got more normal questions for you. There's more in the realm of reality. He's still hearing me? Oh, he's on mute. He's probably pooping. Hey, if you guys want to take a little break for a minute, I will play the commercial for the cereal.
Do you hear me now?
Oh no, he's back. Never mind. We could keep going.
Yeah, I got a phone call. It booted me out. Sorry. I just want to say I put the link in the chat if anyone wants to look into the skin cells to egg cells. So it is a thing.
Good.
Yeah.
Which chat? Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
HMS Harvard. Got it. I got it for myself too.
And this is back in 2012.
Wow.
So I mean,
For the teeth
12
thing?
years ago. No, the skin cells to egg
Oh,
cells.
okay. Oh, skin to egg. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep,
So,
see that, ladies out in the chat? We're not even going to need you anymore. Yep. We're just going to make mini us's with our own skin cells.
I mean, are we going to start having like blue kids and stuff?
I hope so.
You know what that means, right? Blue.
High silver?
It's either that or the inbreeding is so bad that your skin turns blue. Like there was a case study in Kentucky in like the early 1900s. They were like multiple generations of first level inbreeding. So like
Wow.
parents and kids in a sense. But it was multiple generations and their whole bodies were turning blue. Like a purple blue color. So like yeah, you get some weird crap if you don't spread out your genes. So
Very true.
yeah, I'm not a both sexes are needed when raising kids. I'm not a big fan of one gender having access to kids only because you're only really damaging the kid. You're not really helping out because you need both a parent. They need both parents because they both bring different things to the table. So I'm not a firm thing of saying like, oh, women are not needed now because we can make egg cells now. That's to me, that's the opposite.
Oh, absolutely. I was obviously,
Yeah.
obviously joking.
Oh, I know, but
Yeah,
some people
for
take things and go with it.
True. Ooh, garbage disposal.
Yep, sorry, my bad. Any
Shit
other
happens.
questions?
Oh yeah, definitely. I got a bunch, but the more like average. What job did you want when you was a child, and did you end up pursuing it?
Well, this is gonna sound a weird one, but as a kid, I wanted to be a railroad conductor. I know that sounds. I mean,
Okay.
one of the weird ones.
Doesn't really come across as too weird to me. Did you watch like Thomas the Tank Engine or like
Yeah, that was big in the early 90s.
Mr. Rogers?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is that what like pushed you towards it? Was more Mr. Rogers or?
Yeah, and I always had like affinity. I mean, I used to do a lot of the train stuff when I was a kid, like going to,
Okay.
I wouldn't say train sighting but at the same time, like, Model A trains and stuff like that when I was a kid. So like, yeah, it was in the mind for that. But, I grew out of that, later in life. But like, that was the first thing that I wanted to be that I can at least remember when I was a kid.
I remember wanting to be a hockey star, a hockey player, and then I don't think I kept with that at all, because then I remember wanting to be a cop.
But I mean, you got the frame for it. You could have been a hockey player.
Hey,
It's not like you didn't have the body not to do it, in a sense.
All right, well,
I mean,
fuck
like,
this YouTube thing. I'm gonna go play hockey. I don't know with who.
You're not like
Black
you're not
guys. Play hockey with black guys.
like there you go.
Name me a professional black hockey player. You
I
can
can
do
name you
it,
a couple.
but you can't. But you can't right
Just a
now
couple.
without looking it
Oh.
up.
Danny Brashear.
Well, he did it, folks. I really don't know because I don't keep up with it. But I'm gonna take him at his word.
Brashear. He was a flyer. He was an enforcer. He used to mess people up.
But well, my theory was wrong. Apparently, black people do play hockey. Hey, M. Stone.
They do.
M. Stone said it takes more than being big. Hell, if
I
we
know.
had JJ Lennon here, he would have told us all about hockey. That guy
But
is a
it's-
huge hockey fan. He loves it.
But if you're 5'0" and you're trying to play hockey, you don't have the frame to do it. Like, you can be the best hockey player ever, but you get someone that's like 6'8", 6'9", then they put on, blades, and now they're over 7 feet tall, and you're at like 5'6", 5'7", you're gonna get wrecked. I don't care how good of a hockey player you are, you're not gonna survive a forecheck. You're done.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're basically, in a sense, the hockey puck. You're gonna get thrown midair. It would be hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. That would be very entertaining to watch. Like someone get forechecked that's like 2 feet smaller than them.
Yeah, my hockey player's that big. I'm only 6'1".
No, they're huge. Like modern hockey players could be basketball players. Like they're ginormous.
It's kind of how it goes with baseball too. A lot of those guys are really, really tall.
I mean, what was it? Randy Johnson was like what, 6'7", 6'8"?
Probably. I know. Remember when Michael Jordan was playing baseball?
Yeah, Okay, there you go. According to the official, the NHL's average height is 6'1", 6 feet 1 inches.
Okay.
But
yeah, that's my height.
But there's weighing roughly 200 pounds. But there's a lot of people that are exceptions to that, where they're well over, like they're in basketball territory. Like some of them are like 6'8" without skates, so they're well over 7 feet with skates.
Well, damn, that's true.
And then you have other players that are like more the finesse players. They're like 5'7" to 5'9".
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's just like soccer in a sense. You have your quick people that are short, and then you have your enforcers / your defensive people that are knowing the bigger players, or your goalies.
Wow. Yeah, like I haven't really kept up with hockey since I don't even know.
I mean, to be honest with you, hockey is probably one of the best sports to see live. Like I can't name a better sport to watch live because it's always action. You can actually feel the changing of the ice, like who has possession. Like it's more of a feel as much as it is a visually seeing what's going on. And the fact that there can be fights, I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, people love the fights.
Yeah, like I remember back in like early 2000s where they had the Flyer. It was the Flyers and the Devils. It was the most penalty minutes in a game. They lost like 3 lines. It was at the end of the game. It was down to like 11 people on the bench total. Like the players on the ice and left was like 11 on 10. They've gone through like that many people because it was just like every single time they had a face-off, the whole bench would fight. It was great.
Wow.
The goalie got at it. It was awesome. I'll send it to you to watch. It's one of the most entertaining things I've seen in a very long time.
Nice. Yeah, I think I watched that movie. There's like a Sean William Scott movie. I think it's called. Is it called Goon?
Yeah, Goon. Yep.
I think there's 2 of those too. I want to say I watched the first one, but not the second. And I'm sure if Self is still in the audience, he knows because he's a big gooner. He loves gooning. He's probably gooning right now. That's why he's not talking much.
Yeah, there's that, and then wasn't there also that spoof movie or Slapshot?
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, and there was like an Airbud 2, I think, or not Airbud 2, but there was an Airbud hockey movie, I think, or was it a chimp? I think it was a chimp that played hockey.
Which would be scary, man. A chimp.
Yeah.
For how strong they are, that would be horrific. Can you imagine getting a fight with a chimp? Ugh.
I think he played on a kids hockey team in the movie. I don't even remember the name of it.
But I'm just saying, could you imagine like a chimp that is as flexible as a chimp that now has ice skates that can use them as weapons? I mean, could you imagine like that would be one hell of a world.
Oh, see, there he is. Yeah, Self said that he is gooning. He's gooning right now.
Nice.
The fuck is gooning? I'm not really sure what it is. I've just been hearing it all over the internet lately.
Gooning?
Yeah.
What is gooning?
Yeah.
It's technically it's an NSFW term. Okay. Oh no.
Nope.
Oh.
I mean, I don't even know what it is.
Do you want to know what it is? I can tell you what it is.
Yeah, let's tell everybody what it is. Go ahead.
It's another word for edging.
Really? That seems simple. That's
I don't know.
I don't know who I was watching yesterday, but somebody in a YouTube video was like, "Are you gooning or edging?"
But the difference is it's like, from what I'm looking at it, it's doing it for hours. So imagine edging yourself for hours. You're masochistic at that point.
I'm a cum. I'm not gonna cum. I'm gonna my cum, but I'm not gonna cum. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I do to myself every day.
Granted, that's the mashable term. So I bet you there's a different way of looking at it. I'll put it in the chat if people want to look into it. It's gooning is extreme edging.
I knew it. That's what Self was doing. He told us though. At least he's not. He's proud of it. At least he's proud of it.
Yeah. Well.
You know what they say, Self? Do what you love, and somebody will pay you for it. That's right. In a minute, we're gonna be jealous because he's gonna be making money off of gooning. We're like, wow, dude.
My understanding of gooning was basically the hockey term of where you have the goon squad, which is basically the enforcers, the ones people that just go in and throw people into the wall.
Yeah.
Or you go after your good players and they just decide to wreck you and get in fights and beat the shit out of you for messing. That to me that's gooning, but I'm old, so.
I'm old too.
Yeah.
I'm 36, man.
I'm gonna be 40.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that because you told I think on the interview with Star, right?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I missed some moments in there.
Us old people need to stick together.
You know what I was doing? I was in Star's backyard on her channel, just doing all the hard work.
Someone's got to do it.
No, I wasn't.
Oh,
I don't think it was. Who knows? Who knows anymore? I'm just sitting here gooning.
Jesus. Well, if you want to build tolerance up, and hey, if you got the will, more power to you.
There's a will, there's a way to come.
So you're not even giving yourself blue balls at that point. You're giving yourself purple balls.
They're not supposed to be purple.
No, that's not a good sign. Damn. You might want to get that. Nah,
I don't think I do. Doc, what's wrong with my nuts? Well, no, I haven't came in days.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the South Park episode.
Which one?
Where Randy puts his balls in the microwave and gets himself testicular cancer, and they get he has to use a wheelbarrow to walk around so he can smoke weed.
He starts bouncing around on him.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that scene when he's doing the hippity hop and they're bouncing. Him and his friends are bouncing.
Dude, those people are geniuses. Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
Yep.
For how long that's going, and think about this: Simpsons went woke, and now look at South Park.
Simpsons went woke. South Park stayed what they were because they made fun of both sides since the start. Well, not since the start, but when they started getting a footholding. Family Guy has gone down the path of only doing what the creator finds to be topical and funny, and it's I don't really care to hear Seth MacFarlane's opinions every time I turn the show on, so I don't really watch that anymore. Because
Family Guy used to be a lot like South Park. It would take current events and then with their when they do their flashbacks, it was kind of a political satire in a sense where it would go over current events. But now they don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. Now the only show that does it now is South Park. Yep. And the funny thing is they've done it so well at this point.
Yeah, other shows look up to South Park. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Well, turns out the Stream Elements works. Fuck.
What happened?
There's a donation coming through that scared me to death.
Mommy Milkers 3. Guess who I am?
Scared to death.
Oh, I think I know who Mommy Milkers is. Thank you for doing that for me. I was worried that the stream elements didn't work anymore. And like, because sometimes you get a little snag in some of these donation services.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my heart rate is still up. Oh man, that legitimately scared the shit out of me.
You better go check wreck yourself.
Thanks to Mommy Milkers, who says, "Guess who I am?" for $3. Well, thank you. Scaring the shit out of me. I don't have to check to see if I pooped because I'm sure I did. But
$3.
Yeah, $3 for me shit my pants while gooning.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so okay. Thank you very much, Mrs. Mommy Milkers. Let me see here. Okay, quick question. If you don't mind asking, do you have siblings? And there's a second part to it. Who's your least favorite?
Dude, that is like picking between like I have great relationships with both of them, so I'm gonna say the cheesy road. I like them and hate them the same. So, yeah, but that's a tough one. I can't say one's worse. I mean, growing up, my brother and I used to get in fights all the time. Like we used to, brothers. That's what you do. You throw each other down a flight of stairs, and then you have a beer later, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I have no problems with my siblings. So not to take the PC route. I can't really say I hate one over the other.
Well, I don't mean hate, just like,
Oh, I know.
Who don't you like as much?
It's like their personalities are so different, it's even hard to compare. But
okay. Yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
That's how it is with me and my sis. Like, the sister I grew up with, because like I've got other half siblings that I've just never met, right? So,
yeah.
But like on my dad's side, obviously. But like me and my sister, we might argue about like politics because that's pretty much the only thing we would ever argue about.
I'm the same with mine.
Though, super close. Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
funny how that works.
It's interesting though, because I didn't even know I had a sister until high school, almost college. So
really, just didn't notice she was growing up in the house, huh? No.
No, she didn't. She's a half sister.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know I even had one and I didn't meet her until college. So,
Well, I mean, how funny would it have been if you were growing up with her the whole time and just never noticed she was there?
That would have been. She was in a state, but yeah, things would be different. I'll tell you that. She's hilarious, but
nice. Oh, at least you didn't accidentally meet her. You know what I mean?
No, that would have been. No. We're not going down that road.
It's like that happens sometimes when people don't realize they're about to plow their sister, and then they find out later. There was a story that on YouTube that went kind of viral on one of those dating shows where it was like, they're not dating shows, but one of those like true kind of life shows or whatever, and it was two cousins that met and had kids and then found out later that they were related.
Yeah, well, there's one that was brother and sister that were separated at birth. They found each other. They started dating each other. They were thinking about getting married. And then they brought each other to their parents. And they had to have that talk. But they've already had sex with each other. Not knowing that they were brother and sister. I mean...
What do you do at that point? Do you just end it all?
They were like... No, they were contemplating just saying, we still love each other. We're going at it. I'm like, Jesus. Like... That's.
I don't know. I feel like sewer slide might be the only option.
I'm just saying, like, shit's weird. What is that? The Rule 37, in a sense. Anything that you can think has been, pornified. So, like,
oh yeah,
I'm not surprised at this point.
I think isn't it 34?
Yeah, it's one of those numbers. Yeah.
Rule 30 something. That works with me.
I think you're right on Rule 34. But yeah.
Gotcha.
Your premise.
Everything has been turned into prawns.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially Madness in the chat. He's got a lot of fan films. It's weird. I don't even think he was aware of that until I just told him. So, you know, I've been looking him up. Madness. Madness actually says there was a couple that found out that they were siblings after they had kids. Yeah, that it happens. It happens.
It does.
I'm pretty sure that the only option is to just buy a gun and shoot each other.
But I mean, I can't even put myself into a situation like could you even freaking imagine? Like, there's one thing if you know, I can't even fathom to go down that road. But if you know, that's horrific. But if you're like separated at birth or something, and then you run into your sibling, and then you start dating and not knowing, and then you have that chat with your, hey, I met this great girl, and you bring her to your dad, not knowing your mom, and then your dad goes, oh shit, we need to have a talk. Like, I don't even know how you even handle that. Like, yeah, chewing on a barrel is probably like, I wouldn't be.
It's got to be on the top of the options list. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's time to end this the right way.
To be honest with you, like, most people come down to either the barrel option or the F it. Like, I've already gone down this road. What's the point at this point? Like, the damage is already done, kind of thing.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to choose the screw it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that. At that point, I wouldn't be mad I'd be mad at the situation, but I'd be so freaking mad at the parents for not telling me, like, that you had a sibling or something like that. You're withholding.
That's something they should include. You should be included on knowing this.
Yeah, it's kind of like Parent Trap, but like a bad version of Parent Trap. You know what I mean?
But it'd be a lot worse though if you introduced the chick to your dad and he's like, yeah, she's hot. She's really hot. And then he tries to have a spin with her, and then you find out that it's your sister.
Dude, you took this to like the wrong.
Yeah, we take things to extreme levels around here.
That's like Alabama, Pennsatucky kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. Self goes weird, evolving into the weird madness. Family dynamics.
Welcome to the danger zone.
That's right into the danger zone.
Yeah, exactly.
I like Archer sometimes. But anyways, let's see here. What else we got? Have you ever had sex with your sister? No, I'm just kidding. That's not part of this.
Hard no.
Hard no. He's like, I'm hard while thinking about this question. But no.
We put words on it now. Jesus.
What was your life like as a child? Like, I don't know. Good home life, bad home life.
Oh, I had a really good.
Pretty good. Yeah. Good
My
thing.
family's always been pretty close. Like, I can't complain. I'm one of the few people that, still have grandparents at my age, still like see my parents on a regular basis, have like family events, no real family issues or problems. So I've been very fortunate, and I recognize that. Not everybody has that opportunity, but I've been kind of blessed in that regard.
Yeah, it's always good to hear.
Yeah.
That is always good to hear because,
I know not everybody's family situation is the best.
Exactly. All right, then.
Well, to answer Brad's
question, go ahead.
Answer Brad Young's question, she's married to a 6'7" lumberjack. So good luck with that one. So I'm just saying, you want to go down that road?
Yeah,
be my guest.
Yeah,
What?
Brad. We're gonna do. You gonna try to plow a sister? Better hope that lumberjack is into cuckold stuff.
No, he's not. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah, we were talking about South Park, so now I'm thinking of that one episode with the lumberjack being mad about the toilets and how he likes to stand up and cut his log in half with his pee.
I mean, when I mean a lumberjack, I mean a legit one. That's his business. That's what he does for a living, cutting down trees. So yeah, I I wouldn't recommend it, put it that way.
I mean, not that we're not all cheering for you there, Brad.
Yeah.
But wouldn't recommend it.
I would recommend it.
Got through that one. As a kid growing up, who was your biggest inspiration in life?
Ooh. Inspiration.
Yes.
I know this is going to sound corny because it's a cop-out, but definitely my parents.
It's a good one.
Because they actually were a positive influence in my life. They showed me what it is to be a good man and how to, translate that into raising a family. Like my value structure, my ethics, morals, principles. I was taught that at a very young age, and to have but at the same time also giving an environment where you can question everything and develop and develop a stronger way of how I view the world because of that. So instead of telling me what to believe, kind of prove what you believe, and in that sense, you're more positioned into protecting your own viewpoints and also becoming the person you're going to be. And instead of I know this is gonna sound corny, but the simple question of just saying why and just keep hammering why all the time so you can actually get down to why you believe in something, in a sense that's more of a better way of knowing yourself than being told what it is. And I think having that ability to have since my mom was a teacher in a sense, you could see how that kind of changed my life in the sense of how I view the world, because I had a different way. It was more of learning how to take things, and that's instead of being told what to do, kind of figure it out on your own. But yet, we're still here to be your safety net in a sense. But on the same time, we want you to learn this, but take the values growing up. And I think that's kind of helped me out as an adult compared to a lot of people that are my peers in a sense, because they didn't have that opportunity.
And a lot of people want to spoon feed their kids every answer to what to believe and who to believe and how to believe and just believe.
Yeah.
Some people are all about just believing.
Well, yeah. You kind of have to balance the analytical side and then also quote unquote the spiritual side in a sense. A person that's too far analytical ends up distrusting everything and just has no bedrock, so they just go with the flow, so they have really no principles in a sense, because the only principle is math, and that doesn't really go well, because if you can change the math in a sense, in today's society, 1 + 1 is 3 at this point, you don't stand for anything. But if you are too spiritual, you get you're also not grounded, because then I could just go in and question your core beliefs, and then you're done too. So being able to have a foot in both worlds kind of makes you a more complete person, and you kind of stand for what you believe in more. So it's harder for you to break in a sense.
Yeah, that's what I was. Let me rewind here. That's what I was taught as somebody. If I become a parent, I'm going to teach my kids to ask stuff, do your research, figure things out for yourself, so you're not always just told the answer to. Hey, TVM is out there in the chat. Said, so skibbity. What do you think about skibbity toilet or skibbity whatever the hell?
One word of advice that I was always taught that seems to do well when they get to the teenage years is, I like to call it the hang yourself method. It sounds a little morbid, but give enough rope to hang themselves. So you give enough freedom to screw up, and then you kind of pull them back, teach the lesson, and then build them back up, and then go out again. So they actually gain the responsibility. But at the same time, in a world today where mistakes are basically life changing, back in the day, you did a minor screw up in the 80s or 90s, it wasn't a big deal. But today, every little minor mistake can be career ending, could put you down a path that you can't recover from. But at the same time, you still need to give the kid either the idea or the perception that they have choice, and they allow them to grow through that. And it's, as a parent, it's so damn hard because they're going to screw up, but you have to allow them to screw up. It's just you have to decide the degree of the screw up. If it's a little screw up, let it happen. But if it's a big one, you're going to have to, get in there. And that's like a judgment call with the parent. But that's the biggest advice I would give, is like allow people to fail.
Because you got to know what it's like to fail. You can't always consistently make sure that somebody does well either.
Yeah, like you learn so much more from failure than you learn from success. Mm-hmm. Like you're better in life to fail all the time and then start succeeding later in life than being like, the classic peaking in high school kind of mentality where you're the classic football player in high school, and then you peaked in high school and now you're just like on the couch with a beer gut. I'm talking like stereotypes here, and your life has like not going anywhere because you peaked in high school. Kind of like the opposite with nerds, where they get beat up in school, and then by the time they get older in life, they start Facebook and stuff like that.
Right. Like legit, the movie Revenge of the Nerds, I think they actually say that, like, nerds are more likely to start getting women when they're older from money, basically. Yes. I haven't seen that movie in a while, so I'm misquoting on purpose, kind of.
Yeah, but the principle's still there. It's better to fail when you're younger and understand what failure is like than to not into having everything given to you, or even being a successful athlete. Like, in a sense, it's good for you to be put on bad teams so you do fail in a sense, because that life lesson of failure and that I hate failure kind of mentality inspires you to do better later on. So like kids, like trust fund kids or kids that are given everything that they want or never experience failure. Like if you touch everything and you're just great at it, like say you're a great sports athlete, if you use that as a crutch, know me later in life, you become an asshole, or you can't handle failure too right, and then you take it personally and your life devolves because of it. So like teaching failure at a young age is beyond important.
I know if I end up having like a son and he's in the kitchen or something and he's like 5 and he's like trying to touch the burners, I'm gonna be like, go ahead, do it. You're not gonna like it. I'm gonna be that kind of dad.
Well,
I'm gonna be that kind of dad.
Today, they might take you. They might call like CPS on you because they think that you put them on the burner. Like, so that's one thing. Like,
I'm not gonna tell him to do it. I'm just gonna let him.
Oh,
watch.
I know, but I'm
like, sorry, you burned yourself.
You gotta look at the world you're living in now too. That's why I was mean. Like, you gotta be very careful how you deal with that kind of advice, because like especially depending if you have a boy and a girl. Like, the worst thing you could possibly do is treat the boy and the girl the same. They're not. You love them the same, but they have completely different needs and understanding of how there's to survive at the same time. So ideally, like if you had the perfect scenario, it's best to have a boy and a girl kid-wise, because what it does is it allows you to better train each kid to be better, because you have to understand both perspectives. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people miss. Like, if you're in a family of all boys,
yeah,
it's very, very hard for you to come up to understand women. But if you understand women because you have women, you can teach your son, look, see how your sister's feeling because, a guy's a jerk for dating him and dumped her. Don't be like this. Be like this, and you'll get women.
Yeah.
Because you can but I'm saying you can show that as a life lesson. And there's one thing between telling somebody and showing somebody something. If they see it, they're most likely going to take it into effect. Like, they're going to take it into as good advice. But if you tell them, no one really does well with being told what to do.
Right.
Once they're teenagers. That's the rough time. I'm telling you right now, if you do have kids, between the ages of like 15 to 26 is rough. But after that, it gets better.
Oh, I bet. Because you got to deal with that whole I know everything, I'm invincible time frame in people's lives.
Yes.
In a teen's life. Because I know I was like that to an extent.
Yes.
I think most of us felt invincible because we're young, like you could.
You have to be, because you have to understand your restraint. Like, freedom without restraint, you don't learn anything. You become destructive. So you have to teach that life lesson. And it's not easy. And that's the hardest thing about, like, being a parent, for the most part. It's I know what they're doing is wrong, but I have to allow them to do it. And that's the hardest. Because you don't want to be a helicopter parent, like society tells you want to be.
Yeah, it had to suck, man. Because like, I knew people when I was in like middle school whose parents were always there, like not just part of like the parent-teacher stuff, but like involving themselves in sports that the kid was interested in because they wanted to be around their kid all the time and try to make sure their kid did as good as possible all the time. And
but there's not every. There's levels to that. Like if you are
levels, exactly.
If you're in because they need a coach and you played baseball in high school,
that's different. Yeah.
Okay. You want to be the coach and coach and bring them up. That's fine. If they're into football and if you want to run the concession stands, that's another thing. Like you're still supporting the team just in different ways.
I was saying like the parents who were there for everything, like would sit outside the class while their kid was doing a test, that kind of shit.
Well, yeah, that's the extreme stuff. But like, you should, as a parent, be a part of everything your kid does. I get
it with sports and after-school activities. Mm-hmm. After school, during school, whatever. Well, not so much during, because I'm talking about like legit helicopter parents. I knew a lot of people who grew up like that, and those kids were, getting A's and B's, well, mostly A's, and their mother, specifically at this one person's mother, was there for every fucking thing that their daughter did all the time.
Yeah, and then you become self-sabotaging for the kid, and you basically rob the kid of any chance of experiencing failure.
Yeah,
because
they can't be themselves.
Anytime they fall, oh my God, you can do better or whatever. You're basically destroying the kid's self-esteem. And I think a lot of kids today, that's their biggest problem. They have no self-esteem because they were never challenged. And you have to allow your kids to either be in sports, do an activity, do something that, in a sense, builds character through like team building, and then at the same time, the part that a lot of people miss is you need to have something where you're giving back. And I don't care how you do it. You can give back to the community through, fixing the environment for one. It could be giving back your time to a food shelter. Like those life lessons need to be taught. And I think if people were more selfless, they would actually put more emphasis on community, and we wouldn't be in the situation we're in today. And that's where a lot of people kind of do wrong with their kids. They think that it's either beneath them or they shouldn't give back to the community. But the life lessons you learn through like giving back and saying perspective. I might be more benefit. I live in like a middle class life. There's a lot of people that are worse off than me. But if I was never taught to like work in a food kitchen or fix stuff up and I didn't see people's lives where they were, I could have been turned into a complete asshole saying, hey, F those people. But the only ways you can gain compassion for people is understanding where they're coming from. And the only way you gain that is through service. And the funny thing about service is most of the time, if you serve someone else, what you gain out of it is way more than what you put in. And that's the thing a lot of people say is like, I don't have the time to do it. But the problem is when you do put the time in, you're going to grow as a person and you'll actually be happier in the long run serving others.
All right. I get you. I get a lot of enjoyment out of making others happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Making friendly friends, But yeah, and I've known tons and tons of people who like worked as like worked at nursing homes and things like that. And it's a similar feeling, I'm sure, because I've heard them kind of rave about being able to help people and, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where the hell were we? Oh, yeah. What kind of kid were you? Were you a good kid or a bad kid?
I was a good kid. I know. Lame. I didn't do a lot of crazy shit. I did a couple crazy things, but for the most part, I didn't. I was more of the goody two shoes kind of kid.
Oh, that's okay. I've been getting that answer actually quite a bit. Self's putting rainbows in the chat. Hey, Self, if you put the rainbow flag, I'll call it an AIDS quilt. I will.
That's hilarious. I gotta use that one.
That's what I do. I will. And I won't even charge you for it. You already gave me money before, you know. Mm-hmm. Favorite holiday? What was your favorite holiday? Or what is currently your favorite holiday? I know as a kid it was probably Christmas or Halloween, right?
Yeah. Well, Christmas, hands down. How do you fight away with Christmas with, everything? Yeah. Now, Christmas for me was always chaotic. Like, it was a long day. I would,
Same here.
have Christmas with my parents. Then I'd go to my mom's side for dinner, and I would do dessert on my dad's side. So we would start the day at like 6 and then end until like 2. So it was a good day. We got to see everybody, but it was always chaos. I do like my favorite season is definitely the fall. So like I do like a good Halloween in a sense, like the food, the atmosphere, like the campfires, that kind of feel. So
You'll go what?
I'll go with Halloween.
All right, nice. Seems to be a pretty big comment around here when it comes to favorite holiday. Man, somebody in my parking lot's got headlights blasting right through my blinds into my eye. That's cool. That's real nice. I want to hold up a mirror. Anyways, if you could talk to yourself when you were a kid with the knowledge that you have today, what would you tell your younger self? Would it be like, probably, don't take the candy, don't go in the van, or?
No, that did.
That did?
I would say did not.
Oh.
I would say put myself out there more. Try more things.
Leave your comfort zone kind of thing.
Get out of your comfort zone. It's better to have tried and failed than to live a life with regret. So if you like the girl, instead of holding back, say you like the girl, like try new things. I was very fortunate. I got to do a lot of things because of the groups that I was in that a lot of people probably didn't get to do. Like, I know this is going to sound corny, but I was in Boy Scouts, but it was weird though, because my troop, they did a lot of like POA stuff before it was even POA. Like, we would go to like every year we would have a competition. Now imagine this: you're wearing your Boy Scout uniform, but the whole purpose of it was going to a state fair and getting as many signatures from girls as possible.
Oh wow!
And then competition where you would see how many guys would get the most amount of signatures. So like, it wasn't as what it is today. Like, I was 12 years old and I flew a Piper Cub. Like, I've done a lot of crazy stuff that most people don't get to do, and I would like to have taken a more extreme version of that, like try even more things, because it seemed to help me grow later in life with confidence, trying more things, having perspectives of different things. So that's what I would say for that.
Okay.
But yeah, like, I just find it funny that like Boy Scouts have completely changed from the 90s. Like, definitely in the 90s, like they were teaching POA stuff. They were teaching like how to hook up with women, in a sense, like how to like talk to people like that you don't talk about today, which I find it like hilarious that it's changed so much since then.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, hell, they want to put the girls in the Boy Scouts now.
Yeah, I know, but back
call
in the
it
day,
the Girl Scouts.
there's technically like secret societies within Boy Scouts. Like they have Or the Arrow, and they have other things. So like, it kind of like branches off into different things. Like it kind of follows a little bit like Freemasonry in that regards. Like there's different ways you can, move from different organizations and stuff.
Right. Well, yeah, this conversation is reminding me that they're still doing the King of the Hill revival.
Oh,
That's
nice.
still going to be a thing. And the guy that voiced Dale Gribble, I guess he was there. He voiced like 4 episodes. So they're going to be able to use him in a few of the episodes. And of course, it's King of the Hill. And I don't know if like you really watched a lot of it or not. But there was quite a few episodes dealing with certain issues that are very prevalent nowadays. So I kind of can't wait to see what that show is going to be like. Like there was that whole episode where Hank got the ID that said that he was a woman.
Yeah. I mean, I wish they would bring that stuff back because that was a pretty good show back in the day. I'm curious how they would revamp it for 2024 though. That's what scares me.
Well, I guess they're gonna do a thing where like 8 years or so has passed, and Bobby's gonna be like 18.
Okay.
Because I think he was 10 in the original series, and then Hank and everybody else are gonna be aged up as well. They're gonna have to take out certain characters, of course, because of all the passings of the different voice actors.
Yeah, but I'm curious about the dynamic between like Tommy and his like quote unquote like that fan theory where the Native American dad is his real dad and he knows that his wife cheated, but sticks it to him all the time. Basically,
John Redcorn.
Yes.
John Redcorn and
they go in the route like that. He finally figures out that he's his real father, and they play that dynamic where he tries to get close.
They really should.
That would be an interesting story of thought for that.
I can't remember the kid's name. It's Bobby, and then there's fucking something Gribble. I can't remember the kid's name. But whatever. Yeah, they should do the whole John Redcorn and him actually knowing that he's the real dad, because they could still keep Dale in the dark. Some people have been saying it would be kind of funny if they took the character of Dale and they had him like disappear in the episodes, and then like they could hint that he's still around, but nobody knows where he went. Like he's living off the grid somewhere because of how paranoid he used to get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be something, man.
Be interesting.
And then eventually you could like, kind of dial it back and then kind of kill off a character in a way, but not really, keep the guy's memory alive.
Yeah, or you can have that dynamic with like the daughter having it, because that daughter's going to get pregnant at some point. So you can have that dynamic too, where like the parents are raising their grandchildren in a sense. Like there's a lot of different ways you can do the plot.
Maybe he's tons of different routes. Tons.
Maybe he's running his own propane company at this point.
Yeah, Hank could do that. Dude, I was thinking the one night, I'm like, I got a perfect way to do this, right? Because the actress Brittany Murphy was a voice actor on there for Luann Platter. And I was thinking one day, I'm like, what if they brought the show back, right? And Bobby is riding his bike around in the alleyway, and Dale Gribble's coming home, and he's driving his van too fast, right? And then he swerves to avoid Bobby, and then he ends up hitting Luann, and then the giant bug on top of his van ends up killing Luann. And now I'm thinking, if I tweak that same exact idea, I could take out Luann and Dale Gribble in a terrible accident. Seeing as how the voice actors passed.
I know that. I mean,
Yikes.
Ideally, you would like to keep one of them because the dynamics between the characters would be really good. But yeah, the voice actors aren't there unless they do the whole like soap opera approach. This person's now going to be voiced by this person. You know what I mean?
They can do that too. Because I think Mike Judge actually voiced Dale in the original pilot, but I think Mike Judge also voiced everyone else pretty much.
Well, that's what he always does. I mean, in that regards, he's a lot like Seth MacFarlane, where he just voices like 50 different people.
Yes.
I mean, that guy is a workaholic.
Brad, you want me to make it more morbid? You know, Tom Petty died too, and he did a voice on that show. We could have this accident take out Dale, Luann, Tom Petty, and Luann's baby, all in one. Just Dale fucks up and drives over everybody.
Or Dale can be killed by Dale Earnhardt. That'd be even,
God.
more. If you want to go down that dark path.
Make it so Tom Petty somehow gets Richard Petty's race car and then crashes that and dies.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's the pace car and causes like a massive crash or something. That would be funny.
Dude, that show it had such a massive list of guest stars. Like,
Yeah,
it was
I know.
competing with The Simpsons back then with how many different guest stars they'd get on. Because they had, I think all of the guys from ZZ Top did voices on there. They played themselves, but they were, I think, all on King of the Hill. All in one episode. But okay. Back to you little fatty. I don't know if you're fat. I'm just making it up. We're going to take questions pretty soon, guys. Bring them up and at me or at Bandit, whichever you want to at, and put some questions in the chat. Hey, what about this?
Okay.
Were you one of those kids that was all book smarts, or did you have street smarts too?
I was definitely, I mean, if you put it on the spectrum, I was definitely more of book smart. But like, my school was massive, so it's like, in a sense, since my high school was so freaking big,
yeah,
it was basically damn near impossible to be popular because there's so many kids.
Yeah.
So like, it was okay, and there's also so many kids that like no one would mess with you. So like, if you were a nerd, there was going to be my graduating class was like 1,200 kids. So you're going to have like 200 to 300 nerds. So like, no one's going to mess with you because you're like a block. You know what I mean? Like, even if the jocks decide to mess with you, they can't take all of them out. And the other benefit of being such a big school is like, you had a lot more opportunities. So like, a lot of people could be their authentic selves in a sense, and there's a big enough group where you're supported. So everything was like spread out. So like, I had friends from like the wrestling, the football guys to the wrestling guys to like, Star Wars nerds. Like, I had the whole gambit. So in a sense, a lot of people were like that, at least in my high school. So it wasn't a lot of clickiness. So it was kind of like people could be their authentic selves without causing a lot of problems. Like, it wasn't like your stereotypical 90s or 80s where like, nerds against like swirlies and throwing in the lockers. Like, we didn't really have that.
I gotcha. Yeah, I went to a high school that had like damn near 800 kids, so I was similar situation. Yeah. Similar situation. Did I say situation? I think I did. So I get where you're coming from. You know what? Last question. Oh,
okay.
Make it a doozy. Actually, we got two left. How would you say that you've changed in the last 5 years? I know we all have.
Change?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, I think the biggest change is probably perspective. Because, like, the older I get, like, time goes by so much faster now. Like, you blink, it's been 3 months. You blink again, it's another 2 years have passed. So, like, especially, like, seeing, like, my kids are now in, like, almost graduating college and entering college at this point. So, like, seeing how fast that they've grown up and, like, everything now, I get, in the last couple of years, I've been a lot more perspective on, like, where things were, where things are, and where things could be in the future. So I guess mindset-wise, that's probably the biggest change for me.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. What about politics? Any of that change, or have you been kind of steadfast and held steady?
I've been steadfast since, like, I'm one of those weird kids that were, like, libertarian in middle school. So, like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So as everybody's like, oh, you're uber liberal, and the whole thing, the expression of what if you're a liberal if you're if you're conservative in middle school, you have no heart. If you're, Republican, I mean, if you're a liberal when you're an adult, you have no brain kind of thing. But I never had the switch. I was always like, my politics has just been more reinforced the older I get.
Oh yeah, kind of the same with me. I didn't really have a political side, right? When I was in like high school, I did not care. I don't think I could care any less about politics as a kid or a high schooler.
Like we used to have like politicians actually come to our school. Like Nader actually went to our high school. Like we had like an assembly, and he was like taking questions from us. So that was kind of weird, having like Ralph Nader come to like the high school and have like talks about weed in front of all the kids. It was hilarious. But like they kind of had a more of an open way of looking at things. Like they would try to, at least they were more fair when I went to high school, where they would try to cover both sides of arguments and not just focus on one side. I think shaping wise, my schools were pretty, I mean, every school is going to be mostly liberal, but they were trying to be at least more fair compared to other schools at the time. And I think that's kind of what shaped most of us back in the day, where we were a little bit of both in a sense, because we had the more perspective than most kids, than just the teachers saying, hey, you want to be this. Well, mine, it's like, oh, you can be part of the conservative society, or you can be part of the, LGBTQ community back in high school. So like you had the option of being both if you wanted to. And a lot of the friend groups were part of both. So it's like you had to either not talk to people, like if they were, you could be the hard line where, you had essential Bible study at high school, and then you also had like LGBTQ, but you would have friends from both people, so you would have perspective on both. So that kind of allowed people to grow in that sense.
Right. Yeah, dude, my high school was fucking weird. Well, like I said, I'm 36. I only got a couple of years less on you, or you know what I mean? You got a couple of years on me, right?
Yeah.
When I was in high school, everybody was like wild, right? Like we had the jock kids who were like the perpetual jocks, like the big muscular kids who that's all they eat, ate, breathed, and fucking shit football or whatever. And then we had the kids that were, goth, like goth, black every day, spikes everywhere, chains, all that shit. And then we had the Juggalos. That was actually a group in my school, the Juggalos. They were all friends. They were all friends with each other. And they were the ones that were like the black and red and the Jinko jeans and the chain wallets and
oh god.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the funny thing. Like my brother was he was definitely in the quote unquote like emo punk scene in high school, and which kind of translated for him pretty well, because now he's in a band that tours, so he's doing pretty well for himself because of it. But like that time frame in the late 90s, early 2000s music scene wise, that was a unique time. Like the whole music scene was completely different than it is today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm just picturing like Janko jeans. I haven't heard that term in so long.
Oh, dude.
Like the parachute pants.
Oh yeah. The super baggy Jinko jeans. A lot of the goth kids wore those too, but it was more of a Juggalo scene kind of thing,
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And those were the kids like you need shrooms? Oh yeah, go up to the kid with the big baggy jeans who looks kind of scary,
Yeah.
You need acid? That same kid. But the funniest fucking part about the whole situation when I was in high school, I was huh? Oh yeah, dude. Well, the trench coat thing kind of ruined. It was kind of ruined when I went to high school.
Yeah, well, I was on the cusp of that. Like you had the trendy trench coat people, and then you had like Columbine hit, and then that kind of changed everything. But before that, I mean, that was like the same fad as the Genco people were wearing like the trench coats.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I knew a couple of kids that had to stop wearing their trench coats because of the whole, Columbine school shooting thing, and I don't know, man. It was weird. When I went to high school, I was like the kid who was in the middle of everybody, right? Like I didn't really choose a side. So I had friends on both groups, and at one point, I don't know how the hell it happened, but our one like jock friend started sitting at our weird ass table where it was like some of us drew anime, some of us were just goth kids,
Yeah, and I had the same experience, and I feel like I could be wrong here, but I feel like that's kind of missed today. Like, it seems
it is.
In the 90s and 2000s, like everybody was like intermixing. Like it didn't matter what clique group you were. Like as long as you were a decent person, you didn't care. Like you had weird situations where I had ones where like you had the freaking quarterback was like a nerd. Like he would do like D&D. Like they had a D&D club, and the quarterback would be part of the D&D club, which was like a shocker when you're at a school of like 3,000 people. Like you'd have the starting quarterback would be like a monster nerd. So it was weird. I'm not gonna like looking back at it. It's like it's definitely a unique experience compared to like your classic cliquey high school bullshit that they portray in movies.
Right. Like we did have our little cliques, man. We really. I mean, like I saw that happening in the school. It was one of the strangest things about that high school when I first started going to it. There was kids wearing shirts that said preps, but it had it crossed out. Like think about like the Ghostbusters logo. So it was like circled and it had a line through it. And I asked a friend of mine, I was like, why is that kid wearing the shirt that basically says no preps? And he was like, oh, he's one of the goth kids. And I was like, wait, but why is it a white t-shirt? And he goes, because they all have them and it's cheaper to buy the white ones. I'm like, okay. Then I saw somebody wearing one and it had goths written on it and there was a line through it. And I'm like, okay, so there's the no preps and the no goths. Fucking weird. And eventually you found out that they considered themselves to be two gangs.
Oh my God.
And like some of the preppy kids would carry baseball bats and shit. And a bunch of the goth kids had like knives and, they already had chains.
Well,
I
mean, not to get in, like the music part, you had like the preppy, I guess I forget what the term was, like post-Christian hardcore, where you had like the hardcore that didn't have cursing, but they were like gang related. You had like guys that were like wearing like khakis and like polo shirts, but then they would have like brass knuckles in their pockets, and they would go like hardcore shows. Or and then you'd have like the death metal people, and then you'd have like the quote unquote vampire people. I remember that was hilarious. Like, and then they have the people that like wolves, and they would like you'd have like battles between nerds and battles between like music people, and then you'd have the classic like nerd and jock mentality. Like it was a weird time. Like it was just like the amount of people that would like be best friends and yet would be awful like frenemies. It was like always changing. So it was like the dynamic was like, what are we getting today? So it was always interesting. Like you figure like a group of friends would be friends one day, a month later they would not be friends for like a month, and then they would be friends again. And it was just it's weird.
Oh, absolutely. But man, like I can't tell you how many times I was offered Coke in high school. Like,
oh, I mean, come on. Like, I remembered some funny freaking stories. The one popular girl. Yeah, this was hilarious. Well, not really hilarious, but actually it's pretty awful. But she basically like, and because I knew the guy that was doing her, it was hilarious. They were hooking up. She didn't want to. She wanted to do butt stuff. She got stuff on the couch.
Oh no!
They blamed the dog, and then the parents put the dog down.
Oh God!
Yeah, so like we used to like roast her. We used to roast her, calling her like they put the wrong bitch down and stuff like that. It was hilarious.
Wow.
But like, yeah, I mean, I mean,
Jeez.
high school is always an interesting time. I mean, I'm not trying to reminisce. I mean, for me, high school's been over 20 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
But since you brought up the high school stuff, it's making me remember all the different craziness back in the day.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Because like I said, I don't know how many times I was offered cocaine. Like just like one day in particular, this kid that I knew, Casey, we leave the lunchroom and he goes, "Hey man, walk back with me to my class." And I'm like, okay, that's weird, but all right. So I'm walking with him. And we get there and he's going through his backpack and then he grabs something. I didn't even see what he grabbed. And then he's like looking at the desk and he's like, or different desks, and he grabs this one Gatorade bottle and he takes the cap off of it. And he goes, "All right, come on. I got what I wanted." And he had a fucking crazy straw in his hand. And I look at what he's got and I'm like, this motherfucker's about to go snort coke. So we're walking back and he's like, "Come up to the bathroom with me." And I'm like, I told him, I'm like, I don't really have time, man. I got to go. And he goes, you sure? You don't want a couple bumps? I'm like, nah, I'm good. So I leave. He ended up getting popped in the bathroom with an 8-ball by the school security guard. And they expelled him. Isn't that nuts? He got expelled for carrying an 8-ball of cocaine, 8-ball and a half, actually. And they actually caught him trying to snort the entire thing in the bathroom. And he got expelled, and I didn't see him for months. And then one day I was going to the adult education center to get my GED. I hear this dude screaming my name. I turn around and it's Casey. And it turned out that he had just gotten out of rehab like a month prior, was going to school to I see self. Thank you for letting me know. I'm telling you guys now. Shit. Anyways, he ended up going to rehab, getting clean of the cocaine. He quit cigarettes. He stopped drinking. And he was going to the adult education center to get his full diploma. So he ended up doing pretty damn good. And his name was not Casey Jones. That's a character from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So if you look that up, it's going to be the wrong guy. I remember what his name was. It was something Casey. So that's like his last name. Anyway, you back, Bandit? He am not back. Well, I wanted to close this thing out. Because am I going to have to wait for him? I don't mean to be silent, guys, but I told the story and my brain farted. Bandit's in the chat. He said, "I'm coming." Well, nah, that's not what he said. What did he say? He said, I'm coming back. He said, I'm gonna come, like Donald Trump. Well, I mean, in the meantime, I keep doing this. Welcome back, Bandit.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, I do.
All right. My phone went from 10% to dead.
Oh,
I'm like,
shit.
bullshit.
Got an older phone, huh? Yeah, I was just telling these guys about how my buddy Casey ended up going to rehab and stuff, and I hadn't seen him in months, right? And then when I was getting my GED, he was the same kid that had that coke. He got expelled from school, you know. And yeah, he ended up going to get his diploma and stuff, so he ended up doing pretty good. But that was one of the times I was offered coke.
Do you ever have I know this was big in the 90s where they would put like the people that used to chemical burn themselves?
Oh God.
That was big in my high school. They would put like what was that? It was like water. I forget what it was. It was like not bleach, but something else that you would put on your skin, and it would leave like a mark, and it would like permanently scar you. I don't know. That was like big in high school.
Really?
People would like go on like coke streams and like just coke binges, and then they would do that to themselves.
Wow.
I don't know. You guys have that kind of stuff.
It's not ringing a bell, but it probably happened. Another guy I knew named Mike as well, same name as me. He thought it would be cool to get certain scars, you know. Oh shit! Brad Young asked if it was Lyme.
Yes, that's it. Yep, that's what they do. They do Lyme. That's what they do. Yep.
Wait a minute, Plague Dr. Zach, you're not a doctor anymore? You're a trucker now? Hey, buddy. That guy used to be a doctor. Now he's a trucker? That's crazy.
Yeah,
Hey, Woody.
Brad's right. It was Lyme. That's what they would do themselves.
Wow, that's a weird fucking choice, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Then again, you know, I've seen people do some weird shit.
Yeah, that was the big thing back in the day.
Okay, so if you guys had questions, I hope you guys can re-ask them, because that's the portion of the show we're hitting. Right after this stupid question, do I have one more? Oh no, you're not currently in a relationship, are you?
No, not currently.
That's right, Madness. He's single, but I don't know if he swings your way. No, I'm kidding. I just like messing with Madness.
That's fine. I think it's funny.
Yeah, he's a goofball. He's a good guy.
We're all goofballs in here.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure Spicoli's asking if he can date you. Wait, no, he says she not dating me.
What?
I don't know what he's talking about. I missed it. Yep, Sean Whelan says single and ready to mingle. And Woody Johnson says that Bandit still has the BlackBerry Q.
No, I have an iPhone 13 that's just a piece of shit. It overheats all the time. Like, worst phone I've ever gotten. It's only like a year and a half old, and it overheats all the time. It doesn't keep a charge. It's just a piece of shit. I don't think it new ones.
Again, Madness asks if you would rather bang Bailey J or Buck Angel.
I don't even know who they are, so like I'm gonna have to look those up.
Bailey J's a trans chick, male to female, and Buck Cherry is male to female, female to male.
Can I think outside the box and say neither?
I don't think that's an option for Madness.
Well, I'm a straight guy, and the trans stuff. That's a bridge too far for me.
If you're asking the question, don't forget to hit @TrippyCast. Madness again says, what is the worst movie you have ever seen and why? Is it the Carol Danvers movie, aka Captain Marvel?
The worst movie I've ever seen. I've only walked out of a movie one time, and that was I didn't know it at the time, but the do you know who's the guy that did the It's Nice, like what the hell's his name? He had like the suspender thong kind of thing.
Oh, Borat or Sacha
Borat,
Baron Cohen.
Yeah, he did that gay movie where he was like a gay guy. Like, I couldn't even make it like 10 minutes in that movie. That was the only movie I've ever walked out of. That was awful. I just thought it wasn't funny. It was just like ridiculous. That was the only
I know
movie
what you're talking about. I'd never watched that one. Sacha Baron Cohen though.
But the most disturbing movie I've ever seen is I watched. It's torn between Kids, like the one with the '90s movie Kids, and Feed.
Weird.
I don't know if you.
I haven't seen either, but I know of the Kids one. I heard a review or watched a review.
Yeah. Well, Kids in a nutshell was based off the guy would only sleep with virgins in high school, so he wouldn't get AIDS. But he ended up having AIDS, and it was a fight between. It was basically a giant race between trying to prevent him to have sex with the one girl's friend, so she wouldn't get AIDS. So yeah, it was. Okay. That's the premise of
very
that.
Very 90s. Madness says, V.
And Feed was basically, it was a betting ring where these guys would bet on women how fat they can get them before they would die, and it was like a premise of Seven, and like the dark web before the dark web was even a thing, and then like. Wow. They were like feeding the dead body, like they would turn the people that died into like liquid and feed them to the other ones, and they would just see how fat they can get. And then you had like people like watching these people get fatter and fatter. Like one of the messed up movies I've ever seen. I mean, it's like Human Centipede kind of level bad.
That's a movie I'm gonna have to get started watch. Is Human Centipede, because I haven't seen it yet either, but I know enough about it to say that I probably don't want to watch it. But...
Well, I'm just saying, Human Centipede wasn't even as bad as Feed. Feed was Feed was basically taking the movie Seven and making it into like a really fucked up movie. I mean, the premise was really good, but man, that movie is messed up.
Madness also says, what was the worst TV show you ever saw, and how come it was Broad City?
Worst TV show? Oh man, there's been so many. It's hard. It's especially like, I mean, if I gotta think about this one. Worst TV? Well, modern stuff. I would say I tried to give Acolyte a chance. That was horrific. Like I couldn't even make it past the first episode. That movie was terrible. I mean, that TV show was terrible. The new Star Wars one, it's awful.
Okay, Star Wars Acolyte.
Yeah, terrible. I don't even bother. It basically burns every. They basically took the history of Star Wars and just took a giant shit on it. It's awful. Like girls can now like impregnate themselves through the Force. Like it is like bad shit crazy. Yeah, like they fucked everything up. I mean, the whole purpose of Darth Vader is he was born from the Force. Like, it's just a shitty movie, TV show. And then, cartoon wise, like, I know this is gonna sound awful, especially if you're a '90s kid, but like, I didn't like Doug. I thought Doug was terrible. But
I didn't like Hey Arnold.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I never really quite could put my finger on why, but I just didn't like that one. Self asks, question, would Bandit date Madness? Oh, man.
Self is putting up the hard questions out there.
That's a question for you.
Yeah, I'm a straight guy, so we'll take that for what it's worth.
Well, Madness, I don't know what he is, so you might have a chance. Self says, is Bandit a top or a bottom? A top or a bottom? Madness wants to know. Oh, man.
What's going on with Self? Is he just, I mean, he's definitely trolling, but damn, Self, no. I'm not a top or a bottom. No, that doesn't even, like, come in.
He's asking you the questions that he faces himself with every day.
Jesus. That's fun.
Star's turning me down to watch Human Centipede. What about Human Centipede 2, Star?
Well, you gotta watch the first one first.
I think there's 3 of them.
No, there's more than that. I
really?
Thought they were
Is it like 5? I don't even know. I'm sure the plot went out the window by the 3rd one. Daniel Armato says Rocco's Modern Life was the best. That's pretty right. I liked it. Oh shit. Brad Young says he wants your man flower. I think he's talking about Self. I think Self is trying to hook up with you. This is getting weird, Self.
Yeah, this is going down a dark path. Sequels. Okay, so there's Human Centipede 1, Human Centipede 2, Human Centipede 3.
Bam.
And then there's, so you have the first one, and the last one's called The Final Sequence. So it looks like there's 3 of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that was about 3. Anybody got any other questions? Don't forget to hit at me. All right, Brad Young says real question. First real love.
First real love. Wow. It's a good one. I mean, for me, it's kind of funny. Like, in elementary school, I hooked up with my neighbor, so that was interesting. I'll go with that one. She was like 2 years.
The girl next door.
Literally the girl next door.
Woody Johnson says, question, why is Bandit a gay nerd? Gay nerd. I don't know if you guys hate each other or love each other. It's one of those kind of questions.
I'm just getting trolled. I enjoy this because this is hilarious to me. Like, because I'm, me and Woody go back, so this is funny.
Oh,
that's funny.
I think the answer is 43. Madness asked earlier, how terrible did you think that the Joker movie was?
The Joker movie. Oh, yeah. Joaquin Phoenix one?
Yep.
I think the acting was done well. I'm not a big fan of the plot. Like, basically, if they would have ended the movie with him shooting at the end when at the talk show, it'd probably be an amazing movie. But when they started,
just cut to black.
Yeah, they cut the black there, amazing movie. But the fact that they kept going, and then they screwed up basically the origin story of Batman. I mean, that's how like really fucked this up. They messed with the origin story because he went in and supposed to kill. He was the one that's supposed to have killed, the Waynes, but it was a follower of him that killed the Waynes, which is not true at all. If you follow, so to me, if you're gonna mess with like origin stories, like that's a shitty movie in my eyes. Like I hate this whole reimagining culture bullshit.
Right.
I mean, there's a reason. I mean, here's a bad comic book, a TV show, the new Scooby Doo. When they basically gender swapped everybody, they made everybody gay. They made that was horrific. So don't mess with the original. If you don't like the premise of stuff, create your own characters, make a new story, but don't mess with established canon. That pisses me off so much when shows do that.
Yeah, Velma was terrible. No question. Yeah. I don't know anybody who liked it.
No, yeah.
Madness also asks another movie question. He says, how awful was Guardians of the Galaxy 3? And how much did they butcher the High Evolutionary? I like that movie, Madness. You suck.
I'll do a counter thing. I will take Guardians of the Galaxy 3 over Ant-Man 2. Right? The last Ant-Man. Quantumania,
yeah, the third one.
A lot worse of a movie than Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Now, granted, I mean, Marvel definitely has the idea of nerfing powerful people. I mean, look at the Hulk. Hulk became his shadow former self by
he sure
because
did.
they had to nerf him because, I mean, kind of if the Hulk was as strong as he was in the comics, the battle's kind of pointless because you can just go over and treat him like Loki and just Hulk smash him and be done with it. So they kind of had to nerf him, but at the same time, they shouldn't have made Captain Marvel Superman. She was uber powered, and the Hulk's supposed to be able to, he's supposed to be the strongest person in the galaxy. So I don't understand why, they messed with canon once again. I can't stand when they mess with canon.
And they've been doing that the whole time too. Excuse me. Some things worked in the favor though of Marvel.
Well, I think they did work because kind of back in the day, when you looked at 2008 when they started with Iron Man. Iron Man was still treating guys Tony Stark's supposed to be the epitome of what guys want to be when they grow up. Kind of the Bachelor, smart guy, gets the girls, gets everything. So they still kept that, and that's what kept people in the audience, and it was true to the character. But as they started making more and more movies, they kind of moved away from storytelling into politics / agenda-driven story. And once that happened, they lost the plot. So the last good movie they made was Endgame. Everything after that's been shadow of its former self.
Yeah.
And even Endgame had its problems too, but I'm saying as a movie, Endgame was the last decent one. If they would have just ended the whole series at Endgame, I know there's too much money to be made, but if they would have ended at Endgame, it would have been a perfect series. But they kind of like destroyed their self-image with all the shitty movies since then. Like, name me a good one after Endgame. I can't name one. Quantumania, like maybe Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is probably the best one they've done since Endgame.
I agree with that. Star wants to know, you said hooked up in the 3rd grade?
No, in elementary school. I hooked up 5th grade.
Oh,
So.
And she wants to know what you mean by that. Make out session?
Yeah.
Oh, well, so there you go. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
At first, I mistook what she said, and I was like, I got to reread that because.
And she was in 8th grade at the time. So, hey, worked for me. She was actually my babysitter. Hilarious.
She said, Star said, he used the term hooked up. Was he on the HBO special for elementary kids doing BJ calling at playtime? Oh, man. Star's getting you, too.
No.
Ori Nabisco said, they went too big too fast. Endgame shouldn't have happened yet. I think that's... I don't know. It was movies, right? And nobody had ever really done what they did before, and they still waited like 10 years before they ever did Endgame.
Yeah. But apparently what they're doing in I forget, Avengers 4 is supposed to be the biggest cast of them all. They're saying they're going to have 60 people, 60 characters in Avengers 4.
Well, that's because they've got a male and female version of everybody now. They got except for maybe Spider-Man, but that's too easy to do, you know.
But the problem is they're suffering from outdoing themselves. So every single one's got to be more crazier than the last. And if you make, what's the Marvel Cinematic Universe now? Like 15 movies, 20 movies? Like, you can't keep outdoing yourself.
Way too many.
You kind of have to have like episodic in a sense. Like, you're going to have like 3 mid-level movies, and then you're going to have like a collab movie. Then like three movies, another collab, and then end it with like a monster movie, like Endgame style, and then you got to repeat the process. Because if you keep just trying to outdo yourself, it's just getting too ridiculous. It's almost like the Fast and the Furious series. Like, they had to go to freaking outer space. Like, this is a car movie about outer space. Like, come on, like this is like Freddy vs. Like,
yeah, I watched it because I watched them because I think they're funny. They flew a Pontiac Fiero into space. That's what they did.
I know.
Rocket-powered Pontiac Fiero.
Where they're like shooting tanks. Tanks are shooting at cars. I mean, like, it's getting like ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gone out the window because the original Fast and the Furious movie was a movie about people stealing DVD players and a cop going undercover to figure out who was doing it. That's what the first movie's about. The second movie, not even close. All of a sudden, it's we need people to drive to like make sure that this rich guy's selling drugs. And it's like, no, we don't need people to drive. The fuck. And then, it just kind of went downhill from there. The first movie, the first Fast and the Furious, and Tokyo Drift are probably actually the two best. Like, it's weird that that's what I said, but
Well, Tokyo Drift, I mean, you have that iconic song that everybody used, that's been basically memified at this point.
Yeah.
That's how that.
I think I went with the other part of the song, actually. Let me see if I've got that.
But honestly,
I got this.
like, family. But like, plot development wise and character development wise, Fast and the Furious 2, like the Tokyo Drift one was basically had the most growth in character out of all of them. Because I mean, you don't go to those movies thinking like they're going to develop characters. It's not what you're there for. You're there for the act. It's like watching the Expendable series and saying, "Oh, I'm there for the plot and not for the shoot 'em up." Like,
I really disliked the Expendable, the first one, the first and second one. I was like, this is lame, man. It's just an excuse to get old action stars to be action stars again. That's fine, whatever.
Okay, I'll use a better version.
Oh, God.
the John Wick series. Like, you don't go to. It's not like I don't watch John Wick to get like a character development series. I watch John Wick because I want to see a shoot 'em up. You know what I mean?
I haven't seen any of those yet.
Yeah, probably the most realistic.
Watch that, Star.
Gun movie you're ever gonna watch, because you can count the rounds. Like, he runs out of ammo. Like, he's actually reloading, doing fast reloads. Like, if you know guns, it's a good. It's a good.
Star wants to know, what's your favorite prawn adult films? What's your favorite genre?
Genre?
Oh yeah.
That changes depending on the mood.
Star's asking, so.
I know. Of course, Star's asking.
Give the lady an answer.
I mean.
Do you like butt stuff?
No, I'm not into butt stuff. No.
Trying to throw out some genres. You just like BJ videos? I don't know.
I'm more. I mean, I would say the storyline. I'm not that much of a nerd, but I'm more to like realistic scenarios that happen, and more passionate, I would say, than just like something in like either grotesque or insane that happens. Like,
self-said brother, sister?
No.
Okay.
No.
Stepmom?
No.
Hypnotization porn.
That's hilarious. I didn't even know that was a topic. That's hilarious.
Pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure.
Well, Rule 34, you know, everything's got its own thing.
Is it not in the hentai?
Not really.
Me neither.
I mean, I know a lot of people into that, but I'm not.
Yeah, tons and tons of people. Brad Young says, what would Bandit say is a must-see movie?
A must-see movie? I mean, just understand pop culture at this point. Like, if you haven't had a reference on Star Wars, I think you're missing out on a lot of things. I know this is going to sound bad, but my old-time movie that if it's on, I have to watch it is probably Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah. I'd say the exact same. All three of them, too.
Yep, it's a feel-good movie. Like, other than the little incest part, but other than that, like, it's a perfect movie.
It's fine. Star Wars did it harder, and more accidental, probably. But, all right, Star had a second part to her question.
Yeah.
Fetishes. What kind of fetishes do you have?
Fetishes?
I think she's taking notes.
She's taking notes. I don't know. I'm kind of lame with that. Like, I would rather. I know this is not the answer that most people are going to say. Most people are going to be dogging me in the chat, and that's fair. But I would rather have a person that has a decent personality that I can have a conversation with. I find that a lot more attractive than just like, looks in a sense, because like I had that in the past, and it's just like it always ends up being like regretful at the end of it. Like, you just go in and most of them, it's like a lame duck at that point. Like they show no interest. They're just like there because it feels good, and then that's it. Like they're vapid. Like, I've been burned that way so many times in the past with that, so I'm just like I don't find it like amusing being an older guy. Now, if you asked me the same question when I was in my 20s, that's a whole different argument. I would definitely be like, let's go for the hottest chick possible and see what happens. Let's give it the old college try. But like, now that I'm older, like, I put things in different perspective, I guess.
Brad Young said, translation, your fetish is 2 chicks. Oops.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Is Bandit a tits or an ass man from Self-Made?
Definitely T over A.
Picks T. So there you go, Self. You got to get some breast implants. And a vagina. That'd probably be a good thing to have. What else do we got in here? Back to the Future is a great feel-good movie. What do you think about Spaceballs?
I'm worried about the sequel, but the first one's amazing. Like, I love Mel Brooks movies because the fact that he pushes the envelope and it's good. It's educated satire. Like, it's not like they don't just do low blows for the point about it. It's all thought out. So like, I love Mel Brooks movies, but the fact that this one isn't going to be really Mel Brooks, it's Josh Glad, and he's been doing really, really bad movies lately. So I'm really worried about Spaceballs too. I don't think it's going to be that good. Because
that's probably going to be the case.
He's the one that did the Pussycats movie, so let that sink in. All right,
Pussycats movie.
Where they dressed up like cats.
Oh, you just mean cats? Okay.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
cats.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very skeptical of how this is going to go.
I thought you were thinking of the Josie and the Pussycats movie.
No, I'm thinking of the ones with the live action Cats, the musical.
Yeah, with the.
I was all about that movie, and it was awful. Like, I didn't have to see it to know that thing was going to be awful. So
I will send you the trailer for Cats with the buttholes put back into the movie.
Jesus.
I don't think you've ever seen it, but I know that it'll give me a copyright claim if I play it on YouTube. So I'll send that to you when I get a chance. I'll also have to have Star see it because that would be funny.
I'm saying, as long as it's not Two Girls, One Cup, I'm okay.
Oh no, it's just a trailer somebody cut together, but they added buttholes to all the cats.
That's funny.
That's a good note to end on. I think we're gonna get out of here. I'm hungry. I'm sure Bandit's probably hungry by now. He hasn't had enough Faygo. There you go. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here, y'all. Y'all come back now. You hear?
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's no problem. It was fun talking to you. We blew through. How much time did we do? We blew through 3 hours and 21 minutes. Holy
nice.
Shit, that was quick. That
I know.
Man, it goes by when you're having fun. But
Exactly.
yeah, y'all, we're gonna get out of here. I think Bandit's gonna say bye, and he's gonna confess his love for Madness real quick, and maybe self-made.
Maybe I have a strategy. I have an idea. Why doesn't Self-Made and Madness hook up? Because they seem like they like the same kind of stuff right now. They keep going down that gay route. Maybe they both need to just hook up with each other. How's that sound? I think the chat would probably be all about that, right? I'm pretty sure Sean and Star and all the other one and Woody would love to see Self and Madness hook up.
Well, I guess so. Madness is still trying to get you to fuck Bailey J. You'll have to Google her on your own.
I don't know if I should.
You know, her. I'm putting that in verbal quotes. Her.
Oh wait, can I end on this note? If we're talking about that, okay. Since you're a clown, this is a really awful joke. What do you call a trans woman?
I don't know. A trans woman. I was gonna say George.
An X-Men.
Mystique.
No, just an
X-Men. Yeah. An X-Man. An X-Men. You're gonna have to change that term to be more inclusive.
How about transitional X-Men?
Transitional men. What do Nikes and the KKK have in common?
What?
They both make run faster. Oh, that was a terrible joke. Somebody's gonna tell that at work tomorrow and get sued. All right, y'all. Let's get out of here, Bandit.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Bye, everybody. I don't have an outro video for this show yet, so y'all gotta. You ain't gotta go home, but you can't stay here. Bye, y'all.